Oh, what's up?
Much, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man.
Give me just a second here, man. I'm trying to go set
No
up.
worries.
Um,
What up, Chris? Good. How you doing?
oh,
Hey, Kushi.
hey, Daniel, what's going on? I am sorry, guys. Bear with me just a sec. I'm trying to set up our live stream right now. Okay, there we go. Key, copy, paste, save. Okay, and connect streaming software. Cool. All right, perfect. Now we are finally live on all platforms. Cool. Sorry, guys. How are you guys doing? Daniel, Jorge, how are you guys doing?
It's all right, other than internet issues, but should be good right now. Looks like it's working.
Yeah. I have some terrible, I don't know what it is. Like I literally reset my internet before every one of these coaching calls every Monday. And I still
Oh,
run. So I don't know. I think it's just my house. Like every internet service provider we've used, we seem to have issues. But um Jorge, you there, man?
Yo, I'm here
Cool. Are you in a rush today or are you good?
today.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just at work. I'm in no rush.
Okay, cool. Um Tony, how's it going, man?
Well, how about you, man?
Good, man. Loving the ad so far.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. It took as much work as you said it would, but it was worth it, I think.
Definitely. I think it looks really good. I'm excited to talk more about it and get him launched and see what happens. Cool. Jacob, how's it going, man?
Going good. Sorry, I just took a bite of food.
You're good, man. What do you got there? Looks like pretzels.
Pretzels. Yeah,
Hey,
hold me over.
hey. Um, good man.
No,
Uh,
I'm good. It's just a lot of information right now. Just going through it all.
cool. Mason, Adam, hope you guys are doing well.
What's up, dude? I currently don't have half of my laptop. I'm getting my screen repaired on my MacBook this week, so I'm currently hooked up to a TV from like my keyboard pretty much. So yeah, I unfortunately I won't have my camera on this call.
All good. All good. Thank you for letting us know, man.
For sure.
Mason, hope you're doing well. I'm punching on the chin when I see you. Um, I'm guessing you're on a call or something. It's all good. Cool, guys. Well, that being said, we're 3 minutes in. Let's go and hop on in and get started. Um, I wanted to ask, does anybody have, thank you for that, Adam. Um, does anybody have to get going? Like, is anybody in a rush? Okay, cool. So in that case, I guess we'll just go ahead and start in order. Daniel, did you get a chance to read through some of my replies or you haven't yet?
yeah, I did get to see some of that, and yeah, I think I was just, kind of, I did feel like I should have added more, but yeah, I was just kind of going off of what you kind of described. But yeah, I think and I watched the video too, so um, you know, just some insight there. Basically just make some variations, and then even with just like the headline stuff, just to kind of have like you said, if I change something on the back end, if whether it be, how I like if it's through, a Facebook form or through an actual funnel, having like that all taken care of. Trying to think of any other questions. Is there like a set amount that you found is like a good amount that I should like stick to, like try to knock out like 5 good like scripts
Yeah.
versus just
So first of all, like let me take a step back in terms of like the sheet that we have here for the guys.
Mhm.
I've left it here the way I have, but like I keep running into the same issue. And when it's an issue, it's not you guys, it's me, where like people are coming in here, they're just kind of like using like the generic form, the script that we have here. And so what I need to do is I need to come in and I need to tweak. This is on me. And so I've just kind of so like this is normal. Like it's not on you at all by any means. Like
Okay.
I find myself telling everybody this is because when we first did this, when we first started the template, everybody would just do this template. Everybody would just do this script and it would just work. And so what I came to find is after, like 3 or 4 people, it's bang on, it just works. And then we come across some people that's like, oh, it's not actually working. And so for those people, I realized, okay, it's best that we don't just film this one, but we have multiple variations in case this doesn't work. But usually this pretty much works bang on. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. Just kind of let you know in terms of like our workflow, like I will be tweaking this up so that people come in here and they put in multiple scripts.
Okay.
But in terms of like your question of like how many to do, I think about 5. I think about 3 to 5 is solid. Adam and Tony, dude, they banged out like 10, I think. Is that how many did you guys do?
Yeah, 12 and a landing page. But that's just foolproofing. Like if we stick with this and like we can just if like we need a CTA, we can just do a quick voiceover, but all the bases are there. And if like 3 ads stop working, we have 3 more to just pump out, right? That was my thought at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so to give you so hopefully that kind of helps, Daniel. Like I think so here's how I like to view it is like the first thing you do is you just throw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and just see what sticks. And then whatever does stick, you create more variations of that, slight tweaks. So what I mean by that is like there's this guy, maybe you guys are familiar, I've used this example before. He's like the drone helicopter TikTok guy. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So all he does, he has a drone that goes around him. He has a song. He's like shirtless. He's just dancing. And so he had one of the videos go viral, pop off, and literally all his videos look like that. And so the algorithm keeps rewarding you, and that therefore you keep doing the same thing. And so in other words, it's like if you find an angle that works, then we'll use that angle, and we just constantly refine that small little angle. So you have 3 or 4 different versions, Daniel and Adam and Tony, and then you come to find out of these 4 angles, like this one bang on. And so we'll just use this one, and then when it starts to dry up, we'll change up like the first 3 seconds, and then we'll change up. We'll maybe slightly tweak something else, but it'll be a very similar feel because this is like this. The algorithm has shown us that this is the one that they want. So, like, I hope that makes sense as well. Tony is like, if you have like 4 different ones, and it's like this one works, and then you're like, okay, after it dries out, I'm gonna try this one. I understand that logic, but also like you want to squeeze this one out as much as possible.
So try them all. That was part of my question, but I might as well ask you now. So try them all out, see which one works, and then take 1 or 2 that are working, and then tweak them. How would I re-record stuff and re-edit, or like what's that look like?
Have you? I'm guessing you haven't had a chance to watch this video yet. It's in the value drops.
I don't think I have.
Cool. Definitely check that out. I show in here how I basically have ran the exact same ad since 2022. And we're
Right.
still. And so let's say, for example, so remember, Tony, I kind of gave you an example of like, hey, I've got like this testimonial based video, which is like a compilation of testimonials. I got this other one, which is like, the Matrix ad. And then I've got this other one, which is like, hey, the world's burning down due to the pandemic, right? For example, like 3 different angles, right? And so let's say the pandemic one works really well. Right. So then, so again, I've thrown out 4 different ads, completely different angles. This is the one that's worked really well. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait 6 months until it starts drying up. And again, I define this. This is all very important. Is like I define like how to know if something has dried up as well. And so let's just say technically, according to the numbers, it's dried up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up the first 3 angles, the first 3 seconds. And so I literally show in here how I do that. But like literally, I'm like throwing in like clips of like a camera. That's literally it. Like for like 3 seconds of like shooting like my red camera, and then I go to the exact same video. I maybe change up the headline of the video slightly. So small little tweaks like that. And then what I might, so I'll do that for the first 6 months. I'm sorry. So the first 6 months, I'll run the original. The second 6 months, I'll sweep up the first 3 seconds. And then to revive it again, maybe I'll re-record myself in maybe a different background.
Mm-hmm.
or I'll wear something different, or maybe I'll say the same thing, but I'll be like talking and walking as opposed to sitting down, or maybe I'll use slightly different words, but it's pretty much the same thing of like, hey, the world is burning. So that's what I mean. And that's how I'm going to revive it. And then once this has stopped working, where I keep trying to like make this work, but it doesn't work anymore, it's like, okay, now I'm going to try a complete different angle. Does that make sense, Tony?
Totally. Yeah.
Does that help, Daniel? Or are you like completely lost in terms of what me and Tony are talking about? Because we're
No, I get it. I get it. I think so you think like because I know the problem sometimes of the stressor of if you hit like because in an ideal world I'd love to, start with a bunch of different angles, throw them out there, see what sticks, and then I can kind of make variations of that winning angle, right? But I think it gets a little tricky when if you do too many angles,
yeah.
like you start mismatching and there's no alignment in the terms of the landing page and stuff. So I don't know if your thoughts are like, hey, don't do a landing page yet, do a Facebook form, because you know how Facebook forms tend to not really have like a lot of details. It's just more so contact information and maybe some questions for them. But so I don't know if I should like start with a bunch of different angles to see what would work, or should I just stick with like what my gut feeling is a good angle, so that way I could build out the landing page and stuff, if that
Good.
makes sense.
Yeah. So this kind of goes back to the congruency stuff you brought up 2 weeks ago. And so remember how you said like, hey, whatever is said at the ad has to be said on like the opt-in page or whatever. So the key is to figure out what is your offer? What is the key offer? And when I say an offer, my definition of that is, hey, if you click this thing and you put your name, email, phone number, I'm going to hop on a call with you to explain how we're going to help you get 30 Invisalign patient in 30 days, right? This is the offer. So if you have to listen to that part again, it's like you click and you put your name, email, phone number, and book the call. And in exchange, I'm going to give you this. That's the offer. So as long as the offer is the same between the two, that's all that matters. So for example, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different angles. It doesn't matter. Like one is like an animated graphic. One is like a photo. One is like a testimonial compilation. One is the typical like default thing that we have. As long as all of them pretty much have the exact same offer of, hey, if you click the button below, we're going to book a call and schedule a call with my team. We're going to show you how to get you XYZ through TikTok and whatever, right? Like the offer that we have, which I have to look at your script to see what offer you have. And so as long as you have the same offer, it's fine. And so my gut tells me like my suggestion is to like your thing also, just so you know, I did see some people, I did see some people that were doing dentist ad that were literally going to lead form. And so I did want
I've seen that a lot too.
what's that?
I've seen that a lot too. The ones that kind of because I click on it and then now I'm seeing everyone thinks I'm a dentist, I guess, but I do see a lot of them go to a lead form.
Yeah. And so to me, that was really strange. Like when I saw that, because like typically when I'm seeing B2B offers, it's going to a funnel. It's not going to a landing form, typically B2B. So that tells me there's a reason why that's happening. So in other words, you're coming at it from an angle of let's do this to see what angle works, right? It's like, hey, this is like your test of seeing like, hey, whichever one gets me the cheapest cost per opt-in, highest conversion rate, that's going to be that's my way of knowing what angle to do. And then maybe I'll go into a form. And that's kind of like what's brewing up here, I'm guessing from your head.
Yeah.
I'm telling you is that based off of the research I've done and what you've done, people are going to lead form, but not necessarily to figure out the angle, but like straight up because like that's just the funnel that works for dentists, maybe. So wanted to share that with you. And it sounds like you already know that. And so when you record your stuff, maybe you can record it and optimize it so that you can go to this in case the form doesn't work. I do suggest going to the form, by the way. I do suggest going to the form as opposed to this because you're going to have such a huge volume of people potentially. It's just like, it can be difficult. I typically, yeah. I would
lead with a form. You're saying like a Facebook form kind of deal?
I'm saying for the B2B, for everything that's B2B, not everything, but like in your case, as well as most others, like let's go into a funnel. Instead of like, so your suggestion of like, hey, let's do this to like figure out the angle. It's like I do get that, but like I think that it would be you might have like 5 different angles and all of them are getting opt-ins, dude. And like the variance is like literally like 20
and then
seconds.
it's hard to think of the script or what you like, whose offer is what, and then you have to build so many variant automations for customized text for that person because I like to restate kind of what they're getting in like the automation. So yeah, I could see if I do too many angles and then they all opt in, then I'm gonna have to struggle with thinking of like, okay, who got what, So I totally get what you mean.
What I'm getting at is like you have two options. You can either go into a lead form or you can go into a funnel. And what I'm saying is that if you do a lead form, you might have 5 different ad angles with 5 lead forms, right? And what I'm
Mhm.
saying, all of them might hit. And if all of them
Oh.
hit, it becomes hard to know which ad angle is actually working.
Mhm.
That's what I'm getting at. Versus if you go right from, instead of doing a lead form, if we go to 5 opt-in pages with a calendar, it becomes easier to know because one's going to drastically outperform the others, ideally.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Mhm. Okay. And
So my suggestion is, in your particular case, to answer like long story short, and like in terms of like actionable steps, my actionable steps would be to create multiple angles, like 5 angles, and then each of them go to the exact same landing page. And we're like, my suggestion is to start there and see what happens.
okay, so yeah, create 5 angles and each goes to the same landing page. And now if there's any like big like the angles are technically like offer changes in terms of like maybe the wording or maybe just the offer itself. How would I stick like the congruency of if they're all going to the same landing page?
So I tell people like the footwork, the heavy footwork, dude, is figuring out that offer. Because if you try to do 5 angles at 5 different pages and each have slightly different offers, dude, it's hard to know. It's like you have to like, your North Star should be the offer. So this
Mhm.
goes to doing like research. I think I sent you like some of the questions, stuff like that Noah asked to his hair salon. We sent this over to, we basically send those questions over to everybody to ask their whatever industry they are in. So if
Mhm.
I'm you, the most important thing is to figure out like, what do these dentists want? Do they want 10 Invisalign offers, 10 Invisalign patients in 30 days? Do they
Mhm.
want 30 teeth whitenings in 10 days? Do they want 30 new customers in 40 days? Like, what is the thing that they want? That's the most important thing. And I would keep the landing page the same. I would not have multiple landing pages because it's just going to be too confusing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure.
You do it? You can. And I know that you know that. I'm just telling you based off of my experience, there's too many variables. It's already difficult.
Like in terms of hierarchy, like the most important thing is the offer anyway, because it doesn't matter how good your ad is. If they don't like the offer, it doesn't matter. So you always want to like solve for the offer first, and then you want to work backwards and be like, what can I show these people that will get them intrigued about the winning offer that I already have? Instead of going out and spending like all of your ad dollars trying to figure out all these different angles of like what potentially could work. It's like test one at test one at a time for the offer. Always sell for the offer first, in my opinion.
To piggyback off what Mason said, it's like when we first built a free video commercial funnel, the offer was the free video commercial. Like that was it. Like nothing changed. It's going to be that. I'm not going to offer a free 30 short form content pieces. I'm not going to offer a video business card. I'm not going to offer social media content for 30 days for free. I'm going to offer a free video commercial. That's it. Right. So the landing page doesn't change. That's a tattoo forever. And then what we did, and I remember Mason was here with me back when we were figuring this stuff out. We had the original video ad. We actually had a video ad. We didn't have like the gray background with the text. And then we were testing out different creatives. We had other people that were testing out different creatives. And that's how we ultimately ended up on the gray background with the red text on it. And so initially our cost per lead, dude, was anywhere from like 20 to 50 bucks. It was insane. But through changing the text, but through changing the creative, the format and everything, now we got it to like $2.50. But the offer didn't change.
Mhm.
I tried to change, if I tried to juggle the offer and all these creatives, dude, I would be pulling my hair out.
Mhm.
Does that make sense, dude? So it's like you want to use you want to use your best hypothesis, is your best guess, your best whatever, to figure out what that offer must be on the calendar page. And you have to stick to your guns. And then the
Mhm.
creative, you're testing a bunch of shit out.
And you're testing a bunch of stuff out on
The
on
ad,
the creative, you said?
on that.
Yeah. On the ad. Cool.
And
Yeah,
more
that's what I
specifically,
thought.
the creative. More specifically, yeah, the creative.
The creative stuff. Cool, cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, I saw the script, but definitely, yeah, I want to ask like some questions to actual dentists and stuff, and it'd be cool just to, and I have some old calls with my dentist, so I think, this is stuff we've kind of covered and probably crossed over, so definitely probably go through that, just to get really in their mind's eye what they want.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most powerful questions you could probably pretty much ask is like, hey, dentist, this is who I am. this is what I do, and we're trying to build this thing out. Out of these 4 headlines, which one would you click on? Boom. That's it.
Right.
Like, treat that multiple choice question, and
Yeah.
then they'll be like, yeah, I want this offer. There you go. And if you ask that to like 4 different dentists and they keep saying the same thing, you have your offer. So that's that. Other question that you had, Daniel?
No, I mean,
Regarding
that's
the
kind of the
testimonial
biggest one.
stuff, huh?
Oh, that was like my biggest one.
The testimonial stuff or like the creative stuff?
Oh, the creative stuff. But yeah, the testimonial, yeah, it's it's just one of those things, I should have got her when we were at a high, but just it kind of slipped my mind, honestly. It's like, but it makes sense, you want to get people when they're doing the best in the program to be like, hey, this is time for a video testimonial, so. But if there's a way there's a play to make to get her to be down, you know, um,
I feel
because we
like
do have a good relationship and stuff, so she's pretty easygoing. I think she'd be down, so. And she has mentioned she would in the past, so we have like talked about it, we just never said like, hey, we're gonna do this.
yeah. Were you able to pick up what I threw down here in terms of like what I'm saying you should lead with? What I would lead with if I were you actually?
Um, I mean, I kind of quickly went over it, but
Basically what I'm saying is like, you know how you have like those testimonial type of video where like you have the creator, the founder, and then you have the student, and then you're like interviewing them. It's kind of split on Zoom like that. And if you have to position it the right way. You don't position as a testimony. You position as like a, hey, can I interview you? You've done such a fantastic job. I would love to ask you questions to learn more about your what worked for you, what didn't work for you, some advice that maybe you have for others. So again, what you're doing is you're putting them on a pedestal. And so that's what I meant. That's what I'm leading with is like, if you lead with like, here's a gift card, they're going to be like, fuck off. Maybe some people like gift cards enough, but that's not going to be enough. What people want is that validation. Everybody in their life wants to feel important. So if you lead with
Yeah.
that, making them feel important, you say, hey, look, I have this thing. I'd like to interview you. And now it's like that's kind of a big deal. And then you take that, and now that your worst case scenario is that video. That is your worst case scenario. And so you have that recording with you guys. You can cut up into like a 1920 by 1080, 1080 by 1080. You can cut up into square. You can do whatever with just what she's saying. You can find like golden pieces in there. You can literally say questions to get her to say the golden piece that you can use in your ads and your marketing. And then what I'm saying is like, once you have her there, she's at an emotional high state, then you can bring on, hey, by the way, Jane Doe, thank you. This has been so great. Also, would you be open to creating a testimonial? Well, one thing that we're doing, I don't know if I ever brought this up, but one thing that we do is we give everybody a gift card in exchange for that. Is that something you'd be open to? You get her on camera saying that. She'll be like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now she's bought in. And then, so that's the second thing. That's how I would play it to get the testimony.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So yeah, that's that. Questions? What else you got for us, man?
Yeah, I mean, just the major things, just starting from kind of scratch with building the funnel. I think, yeah, kind of the scripting, the video testimony for credibility, um, you know, um, having some A2P campaign struggles, but maybe I'll let you know if that keeps on continuing. But sometimes it verifies really quickly, but it seems like every form I submit, it just rejects it. But that's just technical stuff. But um, yeah, I think this gave me a lot of clarity, because I think the major thing is if I don't feel like I know where to go, it's like I can kind of get stalled. So I think just me kind of going back to how you said, like, get that congruency with the ads and stuff and just see what works. I'm just gonna try to knock out a ton of scripts off of that idea, and then that way you just have more to kind of review too.
Yeah, that works, man.
Daniel, I have a hack for you for getting approved for A2P if you want
Oh yeah.
it. It's worked with it was kind of like a hypothesis, but so far I'm 2 for 2 with it. So I'm hoping that you could be my 3 for 3. It's helped Ethan, it's helped Jada and Josh, but basically what you want to do is, I don't know, I guess I currently don't know what you're doing, but if you add screenshots of your actual like opt-in pages, they eat it right up because it's actually manually reviewed. So ATP is still
Okay.
being manually reviewed. It's not automated by a bot or anything along the lines of that. So that means someone is like literally going in and seeing what you're saying word for word. So if you attach
Yeah.
like a screenshot of like your opt-in pages, or you screenshot where it's like you have to check the box so they're like opting in, like they eat that right up and they will like bypass it and they'll just approve you. That's what I've seen so far.
And
So
that's like going to support or what? Because I don't think there's a place where I can upload like on the when you're registering your brand or whatever. I don't think I.
I use, yeah, so I use a software called Gyazo, Gyazo. It's free.
UIAZO. Okay.
Yep. And then you can basically just download that computer and you can take screenshots. Then after you take a screenshot, it's kind of just like Loom where the link is automatically generated. So just take that link and then copy and paste it and put it inside when you register, and then you should get approved.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I'm gonna try that because yeah, I've been having. I remember I even tried to submitting so many things one time, and what made it work all of a sudden was just there's an authorized representative within like the back end, and just changing out the email so that way it doesn't match the business profile email. All of a sudden, it automatically approved, and so it's just the weirdest thing sometimes. And then I tried that with me, and it didn't work. So, but this is the trick under the. I just needed one more trick. So hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot and I'll let you know. It could be something else that keeps snagging it, but if I can have,
When
you
you
know,
register, if you register, if you re-register, record your screen and then show it to me. I'll take a look at it.
for sure, for sure. Thank you.
Yep.
Also, just want to bring this up for the rest of the guys in here. Everybody here obviously recognizes Daniel from a few weeks ago when he gave us a master class on what he did with the dentist. Daniel and I spoke afterwards, and Daniel decided he wanted to rock with us in our coaching program to basically scale up his agency and working with dentists. So wanted to give him an official warm welcome. Typically, Daniel, when people hop in, we ask you guys to introduce yourself and why are you here? What are your goals? And a question for everybody. In your particular case, your situation a little bit different than the average person. But I just thought I'd go ahead and bring that up in case anybody was wondering why Daniel has blessed us with his glorious face. Again, he'll be hanging out with us for some time. So yeah, I just want to bring that up. Daniel, is there anything you wanted to say regarding that, or just
Yeah, just happy to be with you guys. I just love the, back and forth that was from last time, and I feel like I took away a lot. So I just know that, there's more power than just in one. So, yeah, I mean, going with that, I hope to just keep learning more, and if there's any gems that I can drop from me on my journey, because, just going through the trenches, you fail a lot, but I just try to hopefully, come out with some more. I'm building the funnel, so there's going to be a lot with that. So, as you guys know, you're already probably ahead of that on the niche authority stuff. So, um, yeah, just super excited to share whatever happens.
Sweet, man. Thank you for that, Daniel. Does anybody want to chime in on what Daniel just said? Does anybody have any thoughts or anything? Or
I was just gonna say I think it's really cool because a lot of people don't necessarily have like the client fulfillment down as much as you do right now, but most people have like the client acquisition system, right? So it's just kind of interesting that almost you're kind of working backwards in a way, and then people are working in a different way. So I just thought that was really cool. But um, once you figure out the client acquisition, you should be off to the races like fairly quickly, in my opinion. So you should be looking forward to that because sometimes people kind of hit another roadblock after they don't know how to acquire clients. But I feel like once you start to dial that in and you figure that out, it should be a lot easier on you because you'll have like the relief of like, hey, I've done this thing and it works in the past. I can just download this and then just place it into a different dentist business and know you'll be okay for the next like 3 to 6 months. You know what I mean? So I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool.
Oh, cool.
yeah, for sure. You know, there's challenges. There's everything falls into one of those four buckets. Figuring out how to get appointments, figuring out how to close, figuring out how to get people results, and then build your team. And so we spoke about that, Daniel. It was like you've kind of figured this out to some degree, and so
Mhm.
a lot less work to do. So just piggyback off of what Mason said, I'm excited as well. It'll be kind of exciting to kind of see that journey with you. I believe it too. I think the moment we figure out like this funnel and get a few sales calls under your belt, skyrocket, bro. It'll be awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Cool, man. All right, well, we'll circle back to you, Danny, if you have more questions. If you have to get going, that's understandable as well. Who do we have next? Tony. And Tony and Adam, I think it's you guys. How many variations of copy should you use, Adam? And okay. So in terms of these questions, man, there's not necessarily like a formula, or at least I don't know of one. Where it's like, hey, dude, don't use more than like 5 creatives or 10 creatives in your ad set or ad or whatever. I think really it just boils down to like just giving your ads enough budget.
Mhm.
That's kind of like the most important thing in my experience. So I would, for me, what I would do is this, is one piece of advice I can give you is like, I can tell you based off my experience, because of how we track things, I can track whether somebody clicks on the learn more button, or if they scroll all the way through your copy read and they click on a link in the copy in order to like go into our funnel. And I will tell you a significant amount of people, they watch the creative, they read the copy, and then they click on something in the copy in order to go into a funnel. A significant amount. So in other words, people that like watch your creative and that are hooked and they're sold by it, oftentimes they're not going to just go and click the learn more button. They're going to come into your copy, they're going to read it, be sure, and then they're going to go into your funnel, which is a really good thing. So if you know that, how do you leverage that? If I were you, the way I would leverage that is I would think about all of the creatives you have, and I would just create one banger piece of copy. Instead of having 2 variables, I would have one banger copy. Like that's what I did. I literally used the same copy for like 7 years. So get like one copy for one ad, and then you can use it across all the ads. So it has to apply to all of them. And again, it has to really hit on that main offer. And I can work on that script with you guys. Because you know what I mean? So I'll, if you want to type it up, I'll have a look at it. We'll go back and forth until you feel really good about it. And then we can use that. I feel like that's going to be like, that's what I would do if I were in your shoes. The other thing that some people swear by is like dynamic creatives, where they just like throw in like 4 creatives, 4 copies, 2 headlines, and just let Facebook figure out. I've never had much luck with that. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I just personally like to do it things this way. Is like I'll have one ad set with one ad in there and just like test that out. And I give it enough budget. So for me, for example, if I'm you, maybe I would lead with like, 4 ad sets, $10 per ad set per day, and that's it.
Let it run for a week, or
I mean, so that's another good question, because what I've come to find is that, based off of like seeing this over and over again, cost per book call is anywhere from like 50 to $150. So the truth is that until you're spending $50 for every single one, it's hard to really know for sure. 50 to 150. So this goes back to what I said earlier, which is like the issue is that people don't spend enough on to the testing to really know. So I would honestly up to like a week, I would say, if you're spending $10 per ad set per day.
And then the second part of that is kind of the variables of the medium, right? The content medium. So we have like an abundance of video ads. We can make graphic ads pretty easily, picture ads, messenger, etc. I know in the beginning for the FVC funnel, we're predominantly choosing Instagram feeds and Facebook feeds, and then Instagram stories and Facebook stories. How do we approach that now? And then what kind of variations will we do in terms of like, or distribution in terms of like video versus stills versus graphics?
Yeah. So the first thing I heard was regarding placements. Is that right? Okay. If you guys message me, I will give you a list of the placements I specifically use. Now I used to just use feeds and stories. Now I use other placements more than just feeds and stories. And so I can get that over to you. If you please just message me, I'll send that over your way. In terms of like this, it kind of goes back to my same thing before, which is like, I don't know that there's like a magical number or anything per se. You're just really throwing stuff at the wall and just kind of seeing what sticks. So like for me, I did a bunch of videos. I didn't even think to do any images, man. I really didn't. And then we had other members that were doing images, and I was seeing the numbers like, holy shit, that's insane. And then we went super deep in terms of only doing images, no videos. And that's how we ultimately land on the gray background with the red test. So it's really just testing, man. So it's like, if I were you, maybe I would, there's no, again, there's no formula, but maybe like for the first round, you do like 2 videos and like 2 photos, for example. And see like, hey, are the videos performing better? Are the photos performing better? And then maybe go deeper into that rabbit hole of whichever one's like perform better. If they're both about the same, well then I personally would stick to video. I would personally. And the reason for that is if you think about the way the funnel is created, it's very gym launches. I kind of was taught like the way gym launch likes to do their stuff and Hormozy likes to do his stuff is he goes super heavy in terms of the creative. So he's like super thorough on the creative, super thorough on the copy. He wants to make sure like he's not looking for people that are going to watch the first 5 to 10 seconds and then go and click on it. He's not looking for that. He's looking for people to watch it all the way through and then read the copy. And then this way he finds the right people. And then what they do is they go to the funnel. And then when it comes to the funnel, there's not a lot of video or content in it. It's just like book a call, fill this thing out. So the ad is doing the heavy lifting.
That's why the calendar forward funnel that we built. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
So it says there's not a lot of content on the calendar page, and the only content we have is like on the thank you page. And in my experience, what I've come to find is a lot of people aren't even watching that video all the way through.
Mhm.
So it's like we got to go heavy on that creative side, in my opinion, for this type of funnel.
Do you think we have enough there at like 41 seconds or whatever it is? Maybe it's actually 50 seconds now with
Listen
the,
up, folks.
with the graphic kind of last 5 seconds.
Yeah. So you mentioned this. Is this what you meant with like the last 5 seconds?
Well, yeah, that's what's on there now ish. Adam and I tweaked that out to make it a little prettier.
Listen up,
That's
folks.
first. You were kind of like, hey, put a Facebook ad, kind of actual Facebook ad on there. So that's what this first 5
Just use another ad offer.
and
Yeah.
there's like a rash of them.
Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have been clicking this. Because I misheard some of the stuff you said. Are you asking if you're showing that long enough or not? Is that what you're asking?
Or no, my initial question was like I noticed that like yours were like 2 minutes and 12 seconds or something like that. This is like 45. I think it'll be 50 ultimately. That's yeah, shouldn't matter, right?
Oh, so you're asking like the length of the video.
Mhm.
Dude, no, I don't. I think honestly, I think sometimes my shit's too long.
Mm.
I think my stuff is a little bit too long. So
Yeah.
I think my best ad ever was about 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Over and over again. So I would say like the best ads was like 1 minute 30 seconds, and then the second best ads were always all about this length of a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think this is banger. I think you guys have more than enough information. It's so like heavy with like graphic.
Ad offer. Just the blooper.
It's just like it keeps your energy, man. It keeps
Thank
you in. My thing is I thought you were talking about the call to action at the end of the video. If anything, I'd make that longer.
Right. So that's what that screenshot is there. And then we have that like elongated to like 5 seconds, and then we change the call to action to be like that instead. Do you think we should scrap the images of me shaving the dog, or should we keep that?
It's up to you. Like I really like it. I really
Yeah.
like it. But I feel like for me, like when I looked at this, I want to see something like click the button below to book a call. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like click, like I tell them specifically what to do instead of saying like 30 grooming leads in 30 days, which I think that's powerful too. But like book your consultation date. Like that's what I'm talking about. I was just saying like book your consultation date, and there's like an arrow and a graphic that points to the
Yeah.
button. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people, I'm trying to baby it down and speak to a 5-year-old, which is like, here's what to do next. Click here. That's what I want people to do. So instead of like the 30 grooming in 30 days or we work for free, that should be
So if you go, that's not the whole video. That's just the intro.
This is the blooper to transforming.
But that's if you look there, that's the like 30 or 40-second banner right there. Social media ads plus booking, guaranteed new bookings or work for free. We essentially just changed it to like overlap a little bit and be a different banner for the CTA. But I feel you. So what else would you change on that besides a flashy arrow?
that's it. It's just like click the button below to book a call. And then somewhere you can say 30 grooming leads 30. You can have that like flashing. So it's like there's like a graphic that's pointing down to like what to do. And then there's something that like circles around this, whatever. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to get if I click the button below.
Cool.
And yeah. And you can do that. You can just do that. You can get rid of this. You can do them both. It's hard to know. For me, I personally just always do the plain background because I just want to focus on that thing. But like there's some like comedic value to this thing as well. There's something to that as well. And I wouldn't write that off. You can,
Cool.
if you want, how about this? Like if you come to find like the creative works, then you can have, so you have 4 different angles. You find this angle works. Then within this angle, you can test out one with like you grooming the dog versus one where it's just like the plain background, for example. See if it makes a difference.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
Does that help in terms of the question you had, man?
Super. Yeah.
What else you got for us?
My other looming question for this was, what should we realistically allocate to test this niche out initially? And then I know I've heard anywhere from like 3 months to 6 months to actually figure out if it's working. What do you think I should be spending or we should be spending per month to make sure we have good data?
Yeah, I think so different people say different things. Joel Kaplan will tell you spend $5,000. I've heard him say that multiple times. I don't agree with that. Aaron Sawyers, when I spoke with him, he told me he spent $2,000 to crack it. He said he spent about $2,000 before he cracked it. For me, if I'm cracking something brand new, I remember with the wedding funnel, I would say it cost me about $1,000 before I cracked it. Yeah. So my thing is the thing though, like for me is like the number one thing in terms of like cracking something, like I'm looking for the light that I don't know the tunnel. For me, all I care about is, are you booking calls for 50 to 150 bucks? That's it. If you can book calls for 50 to 150 bucks, that's it. So you might spend $300 and you're like, dude, I'm consistently booking, like you won, game's over. And so the rest of the money that you're spending is not whether you spend $1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5 grand, 10 grand, has nothing to do. It has all it has to do with is like your nurturing and your sales. So you're going to be figuring out like, okay, what do I need to say and do to nurture them? And then sales, what does that need to look like? So the rest of the money, you're just refining your sales process and your nurturing process. So for me, like, for example, when I built that wedding funnel, I spent like $100, got like 2 leads. And then I remember it was like, and then I kept spending money. I remember my cost per lead was like $300. And then I went back to the drawing board and I figured out what I need to do. And then now my lead cost was like $20. I was like, okay, that's it. And then from that moment, the moment I got the lead cost of $20, in my book, I already won. In my head, I was like, it's just a matter of time before I figure out how to nurture and sell these people. And so for the rest of maybe it was like 1.5 months, I was just figuring that out. So I hope that makes sense. Like this is why I said like the most important thing is really just figuring out, okay, how do I get these people booked in at a reasonable rate? So I hope that answers your question. Not really a time thing. It's not even a dollar thing. It's really $50 to $150 per book call. Can you do that? If you can do that, everything else you'll figure out sooner or later. Does that help a little bit in terms of like kind of having those guidelines?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that seems doable. And I mean, we've been working with that like $10 $10 a day ad thing with our gym. So we kind of understand what to expect over a month per ad.
What do you mean by that? Go a little bit deeper in what you mean by that.
Well, we were running like 3 ads at a time for $10 a day with Facebook. So I kind of know what that monthly figure is now in terms of like what the overall cost would be.
Okay. Gotcha. Because it'd be like if you were running 3 ads, $10 a day, I know 5 ads at $10 a day would be like $1,500 a month. So right now,
Yeah,
if you
like $600 or so, maybe $700.
Yeah.
And then so if we were to do 6, then it'd be just about twice that for the first month or 2.
Yeah. And also the other thing to know is just like I would totally reach out to Noah about this and ask Noah what his SOP was and how he did it. Because again, there isn't like a right formula. It really depends on like your budget, how much you want to spend, and how you want to play the game. And so for him, I think what he did is like he had like 5 created. I think he did something different. We had like he filmed like 4, like 3 hooks and like 4 bodies, and he like mixed and matched them or something. And he said he ran one up.
For copy bodies, you mean? Like 4
So
different.
So what I mean is like if this is like a video, you have like 3 different intros and then like 4 different bodies, for example.
Right.
So then he would like mix and match these to create different ads. That's how he did it. So instead of what you guys are doing, he did it that way. And I remember he told me, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I know the first one didn't work. And I think it was like he tested the first one didn't work, the second one didn't work, the third one was like, okay, that's the one that's working. And so that's just what worked for him. So you might want to reach out to him and kind of see what worked for him. Again, there isn't necessarily a formula. You can do like, I know some people that they'll just like do a dynamic creative and throw everything in there and say, okay, according to the data, this is what I think the best creative is, the best copy is. Now let me go and just do regular ad sets where I test that out one by one. You really just have to kind of pick which way you want to run things and which way you want to do things. For me, my big thing is my advice is like speed. So like don't be afraid to spend a little bit of cash is what I'm saying. Right? Like if you're going to spend like, $2 $5 a day per ad, it might not be fast enough. I would rather spend a little bit more money to get the data faster.
Mhm. And run like 4 ads at a time versus 1 at a time, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Cool.
What else you guys got for us?
I have a quick question about the sequence for this funnel. Is it just like the classic automated sequence where the trigger is booked on the calendar and then it's like a internal notification, confirmation message, and then a 24 in a 5-minute reminder?
Hang on. Yep.
Okay. And are we sending the meeting link in the 24-hour reminder and also the 5-minute?
I like to send everything in every single message.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. Anything else that you got for us, Adam, other than that?
I think that's it. I mean, I made a bunch of ad creatives, but it sounds like we may just mainly rock with video ads.
We can
Tony-
send you all 4 and see what you think might rock, get your opinion, your Mason's opinion. Those are already created, so can just send you those and see what you guys think is the best.
Yeah. My gut's telling me video is going to be the go-to for you guys.
He means the copy for the ad.
Oh,
He's yeah, he's already written like 4, or we've already written 4 versions of that. So maybe we can just send you those 4 versions of the copy. I mean, they're 6 lines long. It's not terribly long.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. Cool. How are you guys feeling? How are you guys doing? I know we're 3 months in, and maybe there's a little bit of fatigue. How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, it was a bit of a burnout doing, I mean, like it was like a full day of like, well, not a full day. It was like 4.5 hours of shooting, and setting up and everything on Friday, ingesting and getting all the selects on Saturday, and like actually editing that ad was Sunday. So I just kind of worked through the weekend to get this done, and it's cool. I mean, that's part of what we do. I've been doing that since I started filmmaking. But I feel good. I'm anxious to get them out. Like I feel the vibe. It's like just kind of like the beginning of the FVC funnel. It's like, all right, we're screwing up all this stuff and like getting our A2P straight and text straight and all that stuff. And like, I just want to get launched.
Yeah.
Our goal is Wednesday to be launched.
Yeah. Just throw it. Just spaghetti wall. Throw it. Just throw it. Let the chips fall where they may. I read something that was really cool yesterday. I read something. I'm gonna butcher it, but it says something along the lines of anxiety and stress comes from a lack of clarity. And I really thought about that, and they expounded upon it. They said, hey, look, whenever you don't know something, you don't know what's going to occur, you're always going to feel stressful. It's always going to feel stressful, and it's always going to feel like a lot of anxiety because you don't know what needs to be done. You don't know what the curveballs are going to be. You don't know. And so it's stressful. But if you think about everything in life, when you know exactly what to expect, even if it's going to be hard as fuck, what happens is you're calm going into it. So it's like, for example, going to like leg day to work out. Like I know leg day is going to suck balls. I'm going to feel like puking, but I'm never stressed out or anxious going to leg day because I already know what to expect. I just know it's going to be hard. And so I just thought I wanted to share that with you and as well as everybody else. Like for me, that was like a profound thought is like, if you guys ever feel stressed or anxious, it's because of a lack of clarity. And there's only one way to get clarity. It's not me telling you everything. It's not Mason telling you everything. It's you throwing the stuff at the wall, seeing what happens, and you do it multiple times. And then eventually you just know. And therefore the stress and anxiety will go away. That's the only way to get rid of it. So I just thought I'd share that. And I don't know, maybe that gives a perspective shift to some of you guys and kind of inspires you guys to just say, hey, I love spaghetti. I love throwing it at the wall.
Yeah, I like Herbosi's like take on that too. He says, anxiety is too many options and depression is not enough. It makes so much fucking sense. It's like crazy. You know what I mean? Because when you get anxious, you're like, damn, I can't make a decision. Squash that. And obviously depression is what it is. It's a different bird, but it's kind of along the same line. So yeah, once we get those decisions made and things popping and spaghetti on the wall, I'll feel a little better, I think.
I think you will. I think you will. I know you will. I don't think I know you will. Cool guys. Anything, I just want to check in with you guys, make sure you guys are good. Because I know again, it's this is that next phase. How are things going with the gym client?
They're okay. We've gotten them 49 leads and they've only converted one as of now. So we're back to the drawing board. We're taking over the sales calls for this week just to see if that changes a variable that helps them. They've still got a few in queue that are like going to meet tomorrow or the next day. So they still have a few leads that are in the pipeline or stuck in the pipeline, but I have a feeling that they're just not prepping them right. And we're going to try to just take over that starting tomorrow and see if we can change that. Because our ultimate goal with them is to get them to the point where, they're turning enough to get us to a higher pay rate. And they know that, that's like our 3-month plan is to get them to, the 2583, which is what we're, pushing towards instead of, what are we at? 1500.
You're taking the discovery calls, you're not taking the sales calls, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're really pushing to like in-person consultations.
Do you know how many in-person consults they've had?
They've had some issues with show ups. I think they've had 2 in-persons and maybe 10 actual. They have. I think like quality of lead might be an issue too. They've had a lot of like people that aren't picking up after they fill it out.
So the way the funnel looks, I'm guessing, and I'm running Mason's play of like the lead, and then there's like a discovery call, and then there's a sales call. Is that what it is?
Lead, discovery call, in-person consultation is what we were trying for.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't want to speak on Mason's numbers. Mason knows his numbers, but typically it's like 10%, 10%, 10%. So if I'm getting 49 leads, I'm gonna get
The problem is the discovery call. I think in the beginning as well, it's like, well, how many leads did you guys have when you didn't have that automation set up? Because I know I don't know who was responsible for calling them, but I think that was a huge issue.
Because they were left in the dirt, like
Yeah, like they're not
left,
they're not gonna answer 2 weeks and then they'll be like, oh, like I remember you guys. Like it just doesn't happen.
They
Yeah,
actually they had already found. I didn't even realize this. It's kind of awesome. They had already found it within like ads.com/leads or something. Like their
The
business
leads manager, yeah.
You got it. So they were already following up with them and created a system and stuff.
I find that hard to like believe that they were doing it in the right time period though, because they're not getting notified when the leads come in.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying? So like I think that's the issue. And then if you guys are taking over the discovery calls, like just this week, I bet you that's gonna be a big change,
I hope so. Yeah.
in my
And
opinion.
we tweaked your script that you gave us based on
Yeah.
them. So I feel confident about that. And Adam's point too was like, reaching out within 5 minutes instead of 50 hours or something.
Yeah, because when I did it, I did that and I was just booking consult after consult. I don't think it's quality of lead because you're doing like the same thing that I'm doing, unless you're just extremely unlucky. But if you had 50 leads and you said you had what, 2 people show up, but you booked 10, is that about right? So 20.
I think it was like 10 discovery calls, like maybe 4 or 5 in-persons. I haven't physically booked anybody. I only reached out to a couple and then handed it off
Okay.
to her.
So these numbers aren't too bad then.
Yeah.
Mason, do you think in-person consultations are the move, or do you think like just virtual or phone consultations could have a higher show rate?
I honestly thought about that. I haven't tested it for like in-person gyms or like locations. So like I do for online, obviously I do like online consultations, right? But for in-person, like I've honestly haven't had too much problem with them going to the gym. As long as you do a pretty good job on the discovery call. Because I mean, I guess from right now, if you have 10 discovery calls and 5 show up, that's like not bad at all. Especially if your cost per lead is like $3 to $5 from what you have right now, your numbers look fine. I just
Mhm.
think if you could make any improvements, it would be on the discovery call.
So how much are you guys spending per lead?
I think they're spending like $3 to $5, right?
Yeah,
Just say 5, go on the high end, go 5. So just go.
our good ad was like 330, and our shit ad that we kept to keep with whatever, keep the appearance with Facebook was like 8. So it's probably an average of 5.
So
Well,
$250. Your
That's what I was
cost per discovery call is $25. Your cost per sales call is 50, and then your show up rate is $125. That's pretty damn good in my opinion. I mean,
They
especially
just need
if
to
you're
be better
selling.
at setting and closing, basically.
Yeah.
Which hopefully that's where we step in. I mean, that's the variable I wanted to take out. I figured that was the first thing, but we had another client we were onboarding for something else, and I was like, let's just let them roll with this for 2 weeks and see what happens. And so far, it hasn't been like gold,
What are they selling? Like, what is the price point? What is the thing that they're selling?
There's a package that's like multiple PT sessions, semi PT sessions, and then classes.
How much is it?
They're selling it like without the PT sessions for $299, and then I convinced them to upsell it to $399 for those additional 4 PTs and 4 semi PTs, and that's the one sale they've gotten so far was the $399, the upsell.
And that's like just a one-time thing, or is that like monthly? Or
Yeah, it's 6 weeks, so it's over 6 weeks.
yeah, that's gonna be the issue, dude.
You think so?
Sure. Like the numbers that you have for your acquisition costs are fine. Like this is normal. Like $200 is fine. What you need to be doing is you need to be making $2,000 from that.
Right.
That's the issue. So if you can take this 250 and they can make $2,000 because they have some upsell thing, right? Like literally what Hormozy would do, like that's what's going to make it work. Until you do that, the number, it's just the issue that you have is a unit economics issue. It's most likely not a leads issue, like Mason said. It could be a follow-up issue, which even then, like, I mean, if these are the numbers, these are like very healthy numbers, bro. If your cost of acquisition is 250, like that's fucking fantastic. Even if all this is being screwed up, but your acquisition cost, that is fantastic. The issue is the customer value is not high enough.
You got to figure out a way to get them on for like month after month for PT. Because if you can do that, you can take $399. Like obviously you're making a little bit of money on the front end right there from your numbers. It's like $150, right? But if they sign on for another $200, $300 per month for the next 6 months, it's like, bro, that's your 2K you're looking for.
Yeah. So this is the part that's challenging, which again, it's holistic because you lead with like, hey, like, I'm not sure what your ad is. Is your ad, what's your offer at your ad level?
There isn't, I mean, that's what we kind of went back and forth on for a while, is that their offer is kind of whatever, they can't even they won't guarantee anything. You know, they didn't want to say weight, they wanted to say inches. Now they don't want to say inches, you know, like they're definitely a candidate for if we had like 5 of them, we'd can them already for sure. But we don't. And I want to keep going until we make all the mistakes we can to get fired. You know, that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
So this would be a huge learning lesson, just this right here, which is like this is what I had to learn. It took me years to figure this shit out. Is literally the problem is not ads, it is not leads, it is not any of those things. Could these be better? Yes. But the main learning lesson here is oftentimes it's literally just what you charge. And the question becomes, okay, I know I need to charge 2K to make it work, right? I'm trying to make a 10x if I'm you guys at the ad level. Like I'm for a brick and mortar business like that, like with a business like mine, I'll tell you, people aim for a 3x return on ad spend. They aim for a 2x cash collected. My business. With a brick and mortar business like that, with expenses that are that high, you want to really do a 10x. And so if I'm spending 200, I know I need to make 2K. So now the question becomes, how do I make that? That's where the genius of the marketing, the sales comes in. And that's why Hormozi came up with like the 6-week challenge or whatever.
Mhm.
Right. And so then it becomes, that's how you have to figure out, is like get people in, but then they have to, you or they. The truth is, if you were to niche down, it would be your job to figure this out, but you're leaving it up to them. And they're not going to survive. I'm telling you, they're not going to survive if they keep doing this. They're not going to make it. So they need to come up with something. Somebody needs to come up with something to get the lifetime value higher, or else it's just not going to work.
So like more of a like 6-month thing for 2K.
Yeah,
would be-
sell 6-month thing for 2K, or sell something for 250, and then 3 days later upsell somebody something. I don't know what that sequence is.
Right.
I don't know what that magic is,
Yeah,
but that's what has to be figured out.
cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Hope this gives you guys a little bit of clarity. Yeah, it's oftentimes just it's step one is just figure out the numbers. Step 2 is figure out how to get to the numbers. That's it. It's really all it is.
Cool.
Okay, guys. Anything else that you guys want to go over?
No, thanks again.
That's it. Thank you.
Is Ethan in here?
Yep, I'm here.
Mr. Ethan. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Actually, we are moments away from Bitcoin breaking its all-time highs, so I've been closely watching the chart. But besides that, I'm doing good. So it's been a good day.
What are we at right now? It was like 67 or something last time I checked.
Yeah, it's like 68.3 or something. It's bouncing around there right now. It's crazy.
I just sold half my bag because,
You sold half your bag?
yeah, I think that, I mean, it's gonna go into altcoin season soon. So I'm trying to accumulate some of the BTC and Ethereum. And 69 can go either way. It could go God Kindle or it could go back to 47. And if it does, I'll put it right back in there. Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry to interject.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
I think the other day we talked about crypto. Ethan was in here and he brought it up. It was like towards the tail end. It's like, anybody want to go over anything else? Ethan's, I have something to say. Bitcoin is at 50. And then I was like, oh, where's Tony at? You weren't on the call on that one, but yeah, we can. I think it's just us that nerd out about crypto. I think pretty much everybody else is like allergic to it, I think.
Adam's definitely in the game too.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just don't know enough. I like learning from you guys.
Cool. Well, we're probably not going to shut up for the next 10 months, so there'll be a lot to hear and learn. Hopefully we don't cause anybody to FOMO though. That wouldn't be a good thing.
Time to FOMO was 6 months ago.
Time to FOMO was 6 months ago, and you got maybe like 2 weeks to 2 months left.
Now, I want to hear more about this altcoin season coming up. I want to know what's coming up next.
Sorry, Koshik. This opened the doors
Well,
back.
the theory is that Bitcoin will run, Ethereum will run afterwards, and then altcoin season begins. And there's a good indicator because the meme coins are running now. I started messing with this in about 2020 and got burnt over, a ton of money and learned a lot of fucking lessons, a lot. So I kind of see it repeating itself, but there's so many factors now, man. Like I really do think 69 is like a huge factor as Ethan just mentioned. And yeah, I mean there's a lot of ways it can go, but generally what people do is they'll take money out of their Bitcoin and Ethereum stabler coin and then run into altcoins, let those run as much as they want, and then buy back in with larger pots to the Ethereum and Bitcoin to be stable again. That's my take, at least.
there's a lot more that we can share with you. If you're interested, Jacob, like there's like some free courses and stuff I can send over your way. If you're interested, if anybody's interested.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take all the free resources I can get.
Um, but I don't know, maybe we'll start doing something where like at the end of the coaching, anybody that wants to hang out for crypto, we just talk about crypto or something. That might be
That's-
But you have to stay to the end of the coaching call. Yeah, you have to make it all the way to the end. Yeah.
that'll be something.
Definitely down.
Cool. All right, guys. So Ethan, let's get back on track. So in terms of like where you're at with the niche selection, man, I was gonna make like a document and like draw out diagrams and all that stuff for you, but like I wanted you to first get to the stage and then come up with your own conclusion of what the niches are, because I didn't want to like do all that stuff if you weren't gonna kind of go down the trajectory that I was hoping you were going to, and you did, right? So yeah, you won. It's wedding filmmakers, right? That was the niche that I was trying to get you to
Yeah.
alluding. So I will do like a better job of like creating diagrams and like logically explain to you like why like I suggest that. But I just have some stuff here that I thought could be of value to you. And so what I did is I like just took like the things that you said in your voice note
Mhm.
and I'm sorry, in Loom video, and just like put some notes there. So I'll just kind of go in chronological order. The first one is not super important, but I think it's just like important to have like the right mindset, which is like you said something like, hey, I enjoy that niche and have an appreciation for that. So you said something about like interior designs. And I would tell you, like Mason the other day, he literally asked me, he's like, Kushi, why don't you always talk about the bottlenecks of this business, of the niche and this and that. Why don't you go out there and build like a chiropractor agency or a med spa agency or whatever? And the truth is that you'd have to gouge my eyes out. Like that's how I would feel. It's just not something I want to do. It's not something that's worth it for me at this time in my career.
Okay.
But what I would say is that if you are not like me, where it would be extremely painful to go into an industry, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter, because the truth is like you're not a wedding filmmaker, you're not a interior designer, you're not this. The skill sets are completely different. Like for example, what me and Tony are talking about is, like it's a gym business, right? But we have never mentioned whey protein or creatine or anything. We're not talking about any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. All that we're talking about is numbers and sales. And so whether you do interior design or whatever you do, you never talk about that. It's not really about talking about that. So it's not necessarily super about like being interested in that niche, like just like real shit, bro. Like, is there a niche that like you would be repelled against? Like for example, an agency for like OnlyFans models. Like for me, I'd be repelled by that. Right. So if you're like repelled by something, if something goes against your values, like you probably won't succeed. But you don't have to like fully like love it, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, I agree with that, but also like I feel like there's some level of like when I do things generally out of like passion or ambition. So like if I'm were to pick a specific niche, like I don't want to have like an emotional connection per se, but I feel like I want to like gain personal value from that as well. So that's kind of what I meant by that. But yeah, I know what you mean. You don't have to necessarily love it. So I totally hear you in that regard.
I'm surprised I didn't see solar on your niche list.
Well, I didn't get any solars. The people that I put on the niche list were basically prospective clients. But yeah, so I have a buddy whose brother is big on solar, and those are some really nice margins. But I'm assuming that it probably costs a lot of money to acquire a client for those, which is a lot more stressful than I want to deal with starting out.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page. What you have to fall in love with, Ethan, is you have to fall in love with the kinds of stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, the numbers don't make sense. How do I make the numbers make sense? And you have to think critically, okay, how do I make the numbers make sense? Like, how do I hire talent? Like those are the kinds of things. If you can get passionate about that, well, then you're gonna make it in every niche, in my opinion, from what I've seen. For me, I was literally thinking about this the other day. I was like, dude, I don't even fucking remember what it feels like to be a videographer. I truly don't. Like it gives me anxiety when I see certain things on social media, and I would never put myself in those situations, but I coach people that do every single day. Real life story. I was on a shoot. It was like not a lot of money. I had one of the batteries I'm using to record this camera right now, and I remember it got left behind on the shoot. And I remember I was with my buddy, and the entire shoot, everything's great, and then I'm like flipping a shit on him because if I don't get that battery, that's like half my fucking rate.
Yeah.
And like nowadays, I don't know what that's like because I don't live that life anymore, and I would not put myself in that situation. And I've forgotten what that feels like. I really did. I had to really reflect on it because like I haven't felt that in like 7 years. And so this, I'm just trying to really drill like the things that it's very different running the agency versus that. Your problems become different. Your life becomes very different. And again, I know that you know that to some degree, but I just wanted to really drill that home.
Okay.
The next thing you mentioned was something along the lines of, hey, look, I see the whole thing with like the with the wedding videographers, but then it becomes the thing of like I have to teach them, I have to coach them and all that stuff. And that becomes an issue. It becomes more than just running ads. And so again, I wanted to just kind of give you some things to clear things up for you in terms of like having the right mindset. You don't just create a crypto project and then let people buy in, right? You don't just say, hey, here's the greatest project in the world, buy it or leave it, take whatever you want. I don't care. You don't do that. There's a huge marketing team that goes in order to get liquidity, right? You've got Charles Hoskinson, he's like always doing lives. You've got like social influencers. You've got all these different people that are trying to increase liquidity because or else you're not gonna be able to exit, right? And so it's not about just creating the best darn project. It's about marketing it so that you get liquidity. So again, remember, similarly, you can't just run ads and get people leads. Remember why? Because liquidity is equivalent to customers and the value of the customers, right? Liquidity is customers and value of the customers. So what does that mean? You need customers and value of customers. That's all that matters. Just like all that matters is liquidity. And so what that means is that the byproduct is you have to do that. So liquidity is customers and increasing their value. So you have to do more than just get them you have to do more. It's never as simple as just running ads. You have to coach and educate them. Like for me, for example, I look like on the outside, from the outside looking in, I look like a course career coach consultant. I'm still an agency owner. That's the truth. I still see myself as an agency owner. I still run ads for you guys. I'm not directly running ads, but I've set up my business where you guys run that. It's more like a done with you as opposed to done for you, right? I'm still an agency. I still run ads to acquire people, and I still help them with their ads. I help them generate leads. I help them generate sales. And so, and the other thing, again, I don't know if you were here when me and Tony and Adam were talking about this, but we literally just said, hey, dude, you're spending $250 on ads to acquire a customer. You have to get this to 2K. Who's going to figure this out? The gym owner's not going to figure this out. I guarantee the gym owner's not going to figure this out. And so this means that Tony and Adam have to figure this out, and then they have to educate the business owner, and the business owner then runs with that play. That's it. That's how the game works. So I had to figure out the free video commercial offer. I had to figure all that out, and then I had to create course material to educate you guys. Because if you guys just ran ads and generate leads, everybody and their mother would call me a scam. They would say the program doesn't work. It's because I provide the sales training that it actually works. So whether you do solar, interior design, personal training, you have to do this. Mason right now, I believe he's like building out the course for his guys. Right? So you can see Mason on his head. He's literally, he does the same thing I do, but he does it for personal trainers. Literally the same thing. So you have to why do you have to do this? Because liquidity. You have to, it's not, your client is not a client. Your client's customers are your clients.
Yep.
So all boils down to that. It's like, how do I get my client's customer? Because that's ultimately my money. I'm just funneling it to their bank account from their bank account to my bank account. So again, I know that you said that and you're probably like, Kushik, shut up already. I get it. But I just want to really drill that because it's like, you can't get away from it in this game. You cannot. If somebody re-signs up with me, it's not because I help them run ads. It's because I help them make a sale. The next thing, and the thing is like, dude, you have something that is so golden, you don't even know. You have something that's fucking brilliant that you came up with by accident. And I'm going to share it to you. I'm going to expose to you what like the brilliance that you have. Like this stuff is not going to be that difficult for you, I promise you. And on top of that, last thing I just wanted to bring to is like, dude, I'm here to help you with like that. That's my job. My job is to help you create those materials, to create the portal, to create the resources, to operationalize, to build systems. My job is to pass off to you what I know. Yeah. So you have the knowledge, you have the things like, how to get people to do word of mouth. You know how to upsell people. You know how to train people to find editors. You know how to do all that stuff, right? You know how to do all those things. I just need to show you, okay, here's how to record it and document and systematize it so that other people get value from it. You've already done the hard part. You've done so much of the hard part already. The next thing that you said is if I'm getting results for 2 to 3 niches and I'm seeing better results with one of them, can I eliminate the other 2? So you can do one at a time, but it's not practical to do all at once. That's the first thing to know. So it is not practical for you to run ads for, again, like if we look at like Tony and Adam, they're here 4 weeks in, and now they've literally just had a light bulb moment where like, dude, we gotta take out the entire fucking engine. Like, I promise you, part of Adam and Tony in their gut, they're like thinking like, oh shit, we gotta figure this thing out now. And they've been running ads for weeks and they already had somebody make a sale. And so there's just like so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And it's impossible. It is not practical. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's not practical. And the other thing I want you to know, and this is not a thing on you, Ethan, but I'm paying attention to some of the things that you're saying, which is like, hey, Kaushik, nothing is showing up on this page. What do I do? Kaushik, nothing is showing up on mobile. How do I do this? Or what do I need to do? Oh, I clicked a few buttons I figured out by accident. When you say those things to me, again, I hope you don't feel like I'm punishing you for asking me a question, because you should always ask questions. But I'm giving you a sobering reality right now, which is this. I want you to imagine that you have a second shooter with you on set that's shooting a wedding, and then they tell you the camera will turn on, you come to see the battery's fucking dead. Like, how would you feel about that person? You'd be like, you dipshit, right? You wouldn't trust them to go out to a different country and film like 10 weddings for you, would you? No. And so again, you're asking certain kinds of questions that tell me your knowledge level and your experience level so far. And again, this is not me punishing you. I'm just giving you the sobering reality of where you're at right now. And I'm telling you, it is not very probable for you to do multiple. It is not possible. It's not going to happen, most likely. Just based off what I'm hearing from you.
Makes sense. I was confused, just to plead my case for that. I thought it was just required for like desktop view, so I didn't even realize that there was the option to have it on. But yes, you're right. That was granted when I figured it out. I was like, well, duh, that was a stupid ass question.
There's no such thing. And again, I genuinely meant, dude, like, please don't feel like I'm like, there's no such thing as a stupid question, right? There's no such thing as a stupid question. There's just questions. And as time progresses, your questions get different. And again, I don't want you to feel like there's no judgment on me. This is my job. This is Mason's job to answer those questions. But I'm just telling you that your level of question, where you're at, not even just that specific question, just like other things you're doing. Like even like this question, even the question that you're asking shows your education level. It just shows like what your expectation is versus the reality.
Yeah.
We're expecting certain things, but the reality is very different. And so, you know, and the last thing I want you to know is that when you said that thing of like, how am I gonna, again, this is what I meant by like your question. You don't know what you don't know, respectfully, Ethan, in the sense that like you're not using the correct measuring tool to determine what success is. You're using a ruler instead of a tablespoon. Success at your stage isn't about getting good results for these 3 people. So in your mind, you're like, okay, if I take on 3 people, if I onboard 3 people and I'm getting great results for these 2 people, I'm sorry, if I'm getting results for this person, I'm getting shitty results for these 2 people, all right, screw these people, I'm gonna go all in. That logic doesn't work, because that is not the definition of success. What you're doing is you're basically using a ruler instead of a tablespoon to measure something. And what I mean by that is this: success at your stage isn't about getting great results. This is I typically share this with people at the 3-month mark. I'm going to go and just like share this with you. So this is, this is the first 3 months is like literally step by step. We know exactly the journey that we're taking people through: onboarding, launching your ads, booking your first sales call, close a deal and prove a niche or not prove a niche, and then doing the homework. Are you going to refund your client? Are you going to start service? Like literally everything is by design. So this should look familiar to you. You're like, yeah, dude, I've been going down this journey. Everything's by design, right? But then once people basically have picked the niche and they built the niche funnel, this is where like Tony and Adam are like launching their ads right now. After this happens, that's like the first 3 months. The next 3 months, the first thing you're doing is you're closing your first deal to prove there's product market fit. So for example, if you're going to run ads with solar business owners and you're going to close a deal, well, then there's product market fit. They want somebody to run ads and generate leads for them. If, however, you try to run ads to astronauts, I promise you're not going to be able to sell a single astronaut. That's going to prove to you there's no product market fit. There's no astronaut that wants you to run Facebook ads for them. So your first job is to just close a deal. The second job is to close your second deal to prove it's not a fluke. Your third job is to figure out how to get them results for at least 3 months. So one kind of campaign. The next step in the process to figure out how to get them results for a year. So if you do, for example, Invisalign, maybe you do teeth whitening for 3 months, maybe you do pain removal for another 3 months for like dentists, right? So how do you get them results for a year round? Phase 5 is now you build systems so that whether you get 1 client, 10 clients, 30 clients, you're going to be able to handle all of them. Phase 6 is now you increase ad spend. Phase 7 is you fire yourself from the business. So there's a step-by-step sequential process. And so your logic of like, hey, if I help 3 people and then 2 don't get results and 1 get results, that's my determination of success. It's not. This is how you're going to determine success, moving through each of these bottlenecks. So the most important thing right now is booking and closing sales calls. So which one of those industries, interior design, personal trainer, wedding filmmakers, is going to be the easiest for you? It's a no-brainer. It's going to be the wedding filmmakers for you. No-brainer. personal trainer, because Mason has kind of Mason has figured it out. Interior designers, we have no clue. We'd have to basically reinvent that from scratch, right? So, interior designers gonna be right here, personal trainers gonna be here, and then wedding filmers gonna be like right here for you. So I wanted to share that in terms of like what you mentioned of like 2 to 3 clients. You got to pick one, bro. You got to pick one. You got to go down that path.
Okay.
And then now to get into the media of it, which is like, okay, well, why weddings in the first place? Again, I can create a proper video for you and like share a bunch of diagrams and numbers to make it make sense to you. But this is stuff I literally, it took me, I had like 5-10 minutes before our coaching call to put this together for you. So in terms of like the most to the least important, there's obviously the mandatory stuff, which is like the training that you watch, right? Are there other 7-figure agency owners running it, right? Is there at least 10,000 business owners? Can you run Facebook ads and get them leads and sales, right? There's obviously the basic stuff, and like that's a mandatory. But then the next most important thing I look at, dude, is liquidity forever. That's like the secret sauce, bro, is liquidity forever. Real life story. JB is not on the call today. But you met JB.
Yeah.
JB gave us a glorious, fantastic 30-minute testimonial yesterday. You asked Mason. I don't know if Mason got a chance to watch it. It took us 3 months to help him close one deal with a boudoir photographer that he charged $2K or something for, and then his goal is to get her to sign up for additionally $4,000 a month. And he's like happy with that, right?
Yeah.
And he's in a place where he's just trying to stack up cash and he wants to hop back in. Imagine you, again, what is the job? Liquidity, which means getting your wedding filmmakers customers and increasing the value. Can you help a wedding filmmaker make 100 grand like you did? Yeah, dude, you can. So instead of like most people, dude, in the agency game, their lifetime value is like 4 months, maybe like 5 grand. Dude, you can charge a wedding filmmaker 5 grand, get them results, and then sell them on a mastermind for like 10K easy with what you know. If you're going to do like personal trainers, your average client might be worth like 5K, or if you're lucky. Interior design, we have no clue. Wedding filmmakers, dude, you can make like 20K per client with your skills, with your knowledge. And that's all that matters. That's liquidity. You can help them get customers and increase the value of the customers. And on top of that, dude, here's the thing that you figured out that you don't even know you figured out. I'm not saying to run with this. This would fucking blow up. Are you a wedding filmmaker that has been dying? Are you a wedding filmmaker that has been trying to figure out how to crack destination exotic weddings? If so, we're going to help you land exactly. Boom, there you go. You already figured that shit out, bro, by accident.
Yeah.
People would eat that shit up. You get them one destination wedding, they're going to sign up with you again.
Yeah.
You have that figured out. Now, do you have anything remotely close to that for personal trainers or interior design? Not even close. And it would take you forever to come up with something like that. You did this by accident. That's how good you are. You did it by fucking accident.
Yeah.
So if you try, imagine if you try.
I got
Right?
you. No, absolutely. No, I hear you.
So at the exact exotic angle, here's the way the numbers work. You have 2 sales calls a day. You close like 2 sales calls a day. You close like 2 people a week, 2, 4, 6, 8. You get each person to pay you 5K. That's like 50K right there. And then you're going to have 50K that you can make per month from like mastermind software, other done for you services. That right there is your 100K. This is what I've been trying to tell you. Easy. Dude, you close 10 people, 2 a week. For you, with your skill, you should be able to do that, I think.
Do you not think that the wedding videographer like coaching is already pretty like filled? Do you think? Because there's a few guys, there's ads that I currently get who are doing this sort of thing, and like you don't think that they're taking a large share of the market already?
How many coaches do you think work with personal trainers, bro?
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well, so it's a different, yeah, but there's tens and hundreds of thousands of personal trainers, and there's only like a smaller number of wedding videographers in the market to run that, first of all, have an idea of the value of running ads and not just getting referrals and spending money on it. And like a lot of these people don't necessarily have the cash up front or like the interest or willingness to invest in that sort of thing. And Sure, there's ways around that, but I mean, I guess that's part of the.
If your revenue goal is $50,000 a month,
Bro, you
do you
need
think you can sign 10 people? Do you think the entire market is so saturated that you can't get 10 people?
Okay.
if you get, I just did the math, $1 million divided by 15,000. Okay, and 15,000 might be high. Maybe we'll bring it down to 10,000. How about that? Let's do that. Let's do 1 million divided by 10,000. That's 100 people. Do you think you can help 100 people? Do you think there's 100 people on the face of this planet that would be willing to pay you, that you can help make at least $100,000 a year? I think so.
Very much. Just needed the numbers broken down.
So it's kind of like that one thing where it's like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like you know, you think of like a red Honda, or you buy a red Honda, and now everything looks like a fucking red car. It's like that. Right. And so your mind didn't go automatically to like personal training, but like it is extremely saturated, way harder. And there are some sharks in there.
Bruh.
Yeah, look at Mason's face, bro. Did Mason tell you about his DMs, bro? Like it is savage.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we joke about that.
And so if you consider that, and then you consider the sharks when it comes to the wedding videographers, I look, I bitch and moan at Mason all the time, like, bro, this shit's so fucking hard. But then I look at some of my competitors, like some people that like run ads to like coaches, consultants, dude, their cost per lead is $100. $100 to like a BSL phone. I'm like, dude,
Fucking burgers.
I'm so happy I'm not there. So I will tell you, like, based off of the competition that is in the space, like, who is there? There's Andy Ma. There's like a few other people that I know of.
Mhm.
I know them myself. And I have people that buy wedding shit from me. I don't even fucking sell that, bro. That's Mason. Like, there are people that come to me and they'll buy our wedding program. I don't even have one. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like, so like that just goes to show you, like, there is so much. 100 people, bro. 60 to 100 people is all you need. And I will tell you that they're not optimized. Like, I see their businesses, I see the guys, and I respect Andy and I respect these people. But, you know, I don't know anybody that has came up with that angle of like, hey, we'll run, get you an exotic thing. Like, there's nobody in the industry that can offer that. Not one. You are going to be literally one person out of millions. And you figured it out by accident.
It wasn't accidentally. I did intentionally do that. It just happened to work out super well. Yeah. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Yeah.
And so, 10 times more about this industry than you know about any other industry that you have, right? And again, it's not necessarily about what you're interested in, right? Because you're not a wedding filmmaker anymore. You're not going to identify that as anymore. You're going to identify as a business owner that works with those people. And you know more about that industry than personal trainers, than interior by a long shot. Right? Like, there's so many things you can sell, bro. Like, you can, and I kind of brought the stuff down here. Like, imagine solving a lead generation problem for them. Okay, great. They pay you 5K. Then imagine solving the problem for helping them build a team, because now you're getting them so many leads that they can't handle it. So how do you hire a remote team that's across seas, for example, to handle that shit? Right? They're gonna have that problem. They're gonna be like, dude, Ethan, thank you so much. I'm getting booked out in freaking Bali, Indonesia. It's so cool. But like, I don't know the next thing about like hiring a team out there. Boom, you solve that problem. Charge for that. Imagine getting them to use your software, right? So everybody uses like HoneyBook and this and that. Imagine getting people to use your like Go High Level stuff. You'll have lifetime customers. If you get them to use your software, dude, they will never leave you. We have people that use our ClickFunnels from like 5 years ago, and their customers use it, and we get paid on that. You will have the same situation. Again, you already have tons of results for yourself. So like you can literally run ads, say, hey, do you want this thing? Because here's the ad that did it for me, and here are my numbers. You just have a lot of stuff going for you in that particular niche. So anyways, I could break up more stuff. I could break down more stuff. My suggestion to you is you go all in on that. And again, that's it. I think you should go all in on that. And then if you come to say, and again, I don't know that I should even be saying this, but like, I think that if you do this, my theory is that you're just gonna be stuck here. You're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy the hell out of it. You're gonna be a shark. But in the case that you say, hey, look, this isn't for me, here's the thing. It's gonna be way easier for you to build this niche and get some traction here, so that if you come to say in 3 months, you're like, hey, this isn't for me, you have the skills that you can apply in a different niche. Most people don't have that going for them. You have that going for you. Nobody else has that going for them. Most people don't. You have the gift of being able to get started now getting a lot of traction, making money, having fun with it, and then 6 months, if you want to pivot, you can pivot. At that point, you'll have the skills. So that's me making my case. I'm sure I could share some more stuff, but I wanted to break that down for you. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns.
For some reason, last year when we first talked and when you kind of proposed this idea, I felt like a lot of resistance towards it. And it wasn't like I didn't want to be a part of weddings. It just, I didn't necessarily want to identify with that. I know you mentioned kind of like that identity type of thing, but yeah, I have nothing else to say. Like, it's just, you just laid it out so clearly. Like, it would be pretty stupid of me to try and waste my time doing something else that I don't necessarily have the expertise in. So yeah, I needed it laid out pretty clearly. So I think you're totally right in that regard. I think you're spot on. And yeah, I think it could be worth a shot, worth doing. So absolutely.
And I knew that, and that's why I think I led with this subconsciously, is I wanted to set you up for that. As I came through the logic is like, hey, dude, you're not a wedding filmmaker anymore, bro. Like, it's a completely different identity. Your identity is an agency owner, and this just happens to be the kind of person that you serve. And it's gonna serve you so much. It's gonna be so much easier for you to play the game than any other industry, because of your experience. So
Does it not, just one more question, does it not become more like coaching and consulting? Because like when you're just like running ads and you're getting leads for people, and sometimes you like Tony and them, they have to, or yeah, I think so, like they have to jump on discovery calls and whatnot. Like then it kind of becomes, now I'm coaching them, and that becomes a large component of why they're hiring me, right? So I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
So in terms of Tony and Adam they don't have to do that, right? They don't have to do that. The truth is, if you want to build a great program, you should be in the trenches. Every agency owner, Prob, I've met, for example, Prob, this dude, I sent Lisa and Ralph to him. He was able to scale his business to like 250K a month, and everything crashed and burned because nobody was getting results. And so he basically went in and handled all the calls and was like a realtor himself, figured it out, and then now their business has skyrocketed. At some point, you have to figure it out. At some point, you have to, because you can't just generate the leads. You have to help them with sales. That knowledge has to come from somewhere. That's like literally what Daniel was going over 2 weeks ago. It's like he was sharing, like, okay, when the leads come in, here's the script. Here's how you handle the objection. You must do that. And the thing is, so I hope that makes sense. So the reason Daniel, Adam and Tony are doing it, because they have no choice but to do it, because or else their clients, things are going to blow up.
Right.
That's why they have to do it. In your case, you don't have to. You've already done it. Now, in terms of your thing of like, in your mind, and again, this is like an identity thing, Ethan, with you. The issue, I'm using quotation marks, it's not an issue, but it's a mind thing. It's an expectation thing. Your expectation, I think, coming into this is like, oh, I'm an agency, I run ads. It's kind of like, you got like the drop shipping life. Oh, I drop ship. I don't have to talk to people and I just buy and sell stuff. And then the agency world, it's similar. It's not. People use the word SMA, whatever. There's really done for you versus done with you. There's the term SMA, and then there's done with you versus done for you. So I consider myself an SMA, and I'm not done for you, I'm done with you. Done for you is like what you're thinking, where you just like run the ads and you do everything for them, and that's it. Done with you is more like they look at you like a coach, a consultant. And here's the thing, I will tell you, in your mind, you have this thing of like, that's not what I see myself as. There's an identity thing there. But what I will tell you is that it is way more pleasant to work with those kinds of people. If you want to do this other option, go for it. If you want to. But I will show you. This is done for you with Aman. Is Aman here? There he's here. Dude, everything is Aman's fault at all times, every day. Everything. If anything goes wrong, it's his fault. Always.
Yeah.
Aman, are you there? You see him cracking up. He's dying.
Yeah, I just got the worst phone call of my life, so I like everything you're saying is true. I'm like traumatized from a meet today, so
So I learned this from a coach a long time ago. He helped me make the shift, just like we're talking about right now. He said, Kaushik, you can either have clients or you can have students. If you have clients, You're always worried about getting fired. You're always having somebody breathe down your neck. You're always walking on eggshells. You've had clients your whole life, Ethan. And when you have clients, you're playing defense all the time. You're always like, hey, how do I keep this person? How do I not get fired? How do I da da da? When you have students, you all of a sudden become you able to play offense. Now people take accountability for themselves. Now people take things responsible, and it's not your fault for every small little thing. So it's something you just have to experience for yourself. If you want to go down and test this out and deal with what Aman's dealing with, by all means, go for that. And then I think what you'll do is you'll ultimately find yourself doing done with you. Everybody tries to get to done with you. Most people, a lot of people can't get to done with you. But because I'm in this industry, I can tell you, you can get there right now. And I think it's, I will take it to my grave. It is a way better lifestyle than done for you.
Yeah, even I've been telling Coach Cheek like I've been wanting to do done with you, and he's just like, you need to figure this out for like a year before we get there. So like even I'm working towards like the done with you aspect of things.
So that and thank you for that. Aman is like, dude, this is what I meant. Like, dude, you're freaking blessed. You're lucky. I don't think, and I don't say, and I'm using the word quote because I don't want to take that away from you because you put so much time and energy to getting to the stage you have. But the life trajectory, the decision you made got you here to the point where you get to fucking skip the line, bro. And Aman's got to stand behind this line for a year. You don't have to. So why wouldn't you take advantage of it?
Absolutely. So
It took Mason. The only reason Mason is able to do that is because he's been with me through thick and thin, and he's learned the business model. If he was on his own, like he wouldn't be able to jump the line either. And I would say he didn't even jump the line. Like his first few clients, like he was super in the trenches. He was like literally taking on their discovery calls. He was closing deals for that. He was doing everything in order to earn the ability to be a coach now.
right.
So anyways, I feel like I'm rambling. I hope I've made my case for you.
Definitely. You have made your case.
Aside from crypto, bro, this is the easiest 100K a month you're going to make.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Gonna have to do it now. It would, yeah, I'd have to be brain dead to not move forward. So no, I hear you. Sounds like a plan.
What else do you want to chop it up about?
That is mostly everything in terms, that's kind of what I was working on this week. Just considering and whatnot. And then onboarding, I recorded the onboarding videos. I set all that up just to get practice talking to the camera and figuring that all out. That onboarding call, she canceled today, so we pushed it to tomorrow. So I'm just gonna jump on, collect the remaining amount she owes. And I mean, at this point, maybe it doesn't make sense to work with her, but she like the job that I am doing for her would technically be closing weddings for her, but she's an event coordinator, so maybe I drop it. I'm not really sure, but at the very least, I'm gonna get the deposit and do the onboarding and get that practice. So.
And hopefully things are coming full circle for you now. Why I said maybe that's the only one that you want to take on is because she's related to weddings. And so if you were to figure this out with her, then I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is the right move, but it's like, because it's like wedding filmmakers and then event planners that do wedding filmmaking. I'm sorry, wedding event planners that do weddings. And so if you were to able to solve this problem for her, and then you solve this problem for wedding filmmakers, maybe there's like some kind of an upsell, downsell. There's some kind of a way you can work these two together. That's the reason I was suggesting it. It was a long-term play. If you figure this thing out for her, maybe it becomes something that you can offer a value to these wedding filmmakers or the two different people that you market for. That's the only reason I was suggesting it. So the ball's in your court in terms of what you want to do with her. I personally, like, again, if your situation, from what I understand, like just holistically with everything you got going on, the coaching program as well as outside, if I were you, I personally wouldn't take her on. I wouldn't take anything on. I would just go on this. That's what I would do.
You don't even think it's worth, like, I mean, I like to, like, this is truly my passion. I spend most of my time like answering emails, working on business. So like, sure, it may be like a pain in the ass. But she's a 5K deal for the next couple months if I were to move forward. So like, yeah, maybe it's not the most amount of money, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's still good practice. And like, if it doesn't work out after 3 months, I'm sure, we'll break even. We'll close, like, even if we close one deal for her, she's break even. So, I guess I'll think about it. I'll see how the onboarding call goes. And if it seems like something worth doing, then I'll give it a go. And if not, then I'll just go full force with this.
I'll say one last thing too then. Some people don't know this. I don't know if I should even be bringing this up. So I guess like Tony and Adam, you'll hear, this is kind of my surprise that I was going to say and share. And Jacob, I guess now you'll hear too. So after the 3-month mark, Ethan, people are offered a few things. Go do everything yourself. Good luck. Best of luck to you. Come back to me if and when you want. Option 2, re-up. So whatever you've paid, pay it again for another 3 months. Option 3, you don't have to pay me a single dime. And we work together and it's a profit share deal.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody to get this, I don't make this offer to everybody. The only people that get this offer is 1, if you have a niche selected, 2, if you're already booking discovery and sales calls, if you have a machine built, 3, if I feel like it's highly probable that you're going to be able to close deals or you have already closed deals, and then 4, if I think that it's highly probable that you're going to be able to get the results. So I say that to you because if I'm you, I'm keeping that in your back pocket. I'm going to be thinking about that. So the question becomes, can you juggle what you have with the event to get that done, as well as give yourself an opportunity to do this as well?
Sure.
That's something to be thinking about. So the ball is really in your court.
Yep.
In terms of how fast you think you can move.
I hear you. Definitely. Although, never mind. I was gonna bring up crypto, but I decided that's it. But no, I hear you. Absolutely. Yeah, sounds good.
So yeah, I mean, so don't essentially, like, again, that was a long-winded way of me saying, like, do what you would like to do, have fun with it. It's just be mindful of your time and energy. It's going to be challenging, and if you're open to the challenge, you're up for it. If you want to have fun, if you feel like it would be a fun thing for you, like, dude, go for it. Yeah. If you feel like you can manage your time and have fun with it, like, go for it.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
What else you got for us, bro?
That's everything. Thank you for this very enlightening experience. I needed this very, very much. So thank you.
Welcome, dude. Cool, man. We'll circle back if you have more questions, man.
Perfect.
I think we're just talking about your trauma now, Aman.
Yes, let's do it. It's gonna be a good therapy session this time.
Let's talk about it. Do you need a couch to sleep on or lay on?
Yeah, lie down and man. Yeah, so I'll give you kind of like an overview. Because before I get into it, one thing I was thinking on the drive home was okay, if I had this conversation with like Dr. Jane, or I had this conversation like the way I approached everything with any other client who, might have wanted something, I think it would have been very just normal conversation, and then we just get to the end and, we come to some sort of decision. And so, just so many like I was just trying to think like how could I have done better? How could I have done better? But it kind of at least feeling, and maybe I'm just like slightly emotional from the conversation. And I know I've even given context yet, but yeah, like I'm just like I don't think this is worth what like I'm feeling right now. So I guess just to kind of give you some context, I basically my goal with this meet with her was just one, get a pulse on how things are going on her end in terms of like the leads that have come in, she's sold any packages, all that kind of stuff. And then 2, really understand the strategy she wants so that I know for sure whether it makes sense to take her on for the extra 2 months or extra 3 months or not. And so, again, I try to, kind of get into, I laid out the structure of the call, and then I was asking questions just like, okay, like how many, and, she didn't really seem to have that much of a clue in terms of like how many people have come in that were from the ads. And, she was just kind of saying, yeah, the phone call or the AI talks too much, or, she gets very like sidetracked. So I try to like bring it back. And then, I'm like, okay, like, I just tried to like really understand like how things are flowing for them. And so I think after like a few few questions or whatever, she was just like, yeah, but anyway, like I just want to talk about the strategy. And again, I didn't want to like rile her up or anything, so it's like, yeah, like let's get into strategy. And so I had her walk me through like exactly what she wants. Basically what she wanted is like the AI, how we set it up, but instead it'll like push them to the website and then they'll book from there, and then from there send them like the Instagram and stuff. And so, like, yeah, I can set it up, do all that for her, but I know it's gonna be a thing of it's not gonna work, and then she's gonna come to me, she's gonna ask me to make 1,000 changes, and it's just gonna be this constant on. So all I was just trying to do, and this is where I really think you're spot on with the whole language barrier thing, because basically, like I would say, like up until that point, there are just some instances where um like I explained how how the phone call works when people do get on a phone call, because one of them, she was saying how like yeah, once like it was easier once, no, sorry, one of her assistants who was there for like 15 minutes was like, yeah, it was a lot easier rather than going back and forth. Like once I got on the phone with them, I was able to just get everything I needed and lock them in. I was like, yeah, like even how we just like create our phone scripts is that we focus on it's designed in a way to really sell the consultation so that when they show up, they're more excited for the consultation, and the promo is, just an incentive for them to show up. And then, Dr. Jennifer was basically just like, no, it takes too much time to do the consultation on the phone. So it's like those kinds of things where like no matter how much I tried to like say, no, we're not doing the consultation, I didn't want to keep doing it in a way where I'm like combative. So I was trying to find that balance of like agreeing with her, but then like just saying, hey, we can totally do things the way you want. We're just doing it this way because we see that it does this when we do this. And then anytime I would do that, it would be like like well, I can't do that, like with our thing, it was more of like she thought I was trying to tell her to do it. And so when we got to her running through this full strategy, all I was basically just trying to say was like, hey, we can run with the strategy, but I just like this is why we do everything we do. And I only mention this just because I can't guarantee we know that when we compare and we've tried this strategy, doesn't work. And just somehow I can never it was just never like a direct like, hey, I understand, I still want to go with the strategy. It was always just like a like I don't know, like kind of coming at me or thinking I was coming at her sort of situation. And again, this is kind of how I felt this entire time, where I would like draw out diagrams and stuff, and rather than just try to understand, because I think 90% of my clients, if I at least kind of draw things out, I can explain why we do things, it'll be like, oh, okay, like I see why, or yeah, we don't want to do that. But with her, it's just this different situation, and it just got to a point where like somehow she was just like end up like raising her voice, and she was saying all these things, and I was just trying to like I was trying to be like, I literally apologized. I'm like, hey, like, I'm really sorry, like I don't mean it to get to this way. And I like I do like maybe there is 1,000 things I could have done better, but I really was trying to be mindful of not doing like what I did to Dr. Jane, where I just like gaslighted him, and I was really trying to be mindful. But it's just like I need her to understand that like if we move forward, if we do it her way, like one, I can't like guarantee, right? I can just run it, all that's fine, but like, you know, it just like I just need like that extra layer of just like understanding, like, hey, we agree, we're on the same page and that. And it's just like again, I think it is a language barrier, because it's just like I think she was interpreting a lot of things I was saying incorrectly, and like what was I gonna say? Yeah, and like I just know it's gonna be a whole thing of like it's not gonna work, and then she's gonna tell me like, "Hey, I want this." Like, okay, what I came to like realize at the end of the conversation, it's like, on my side, it's people come to me if they believe my strategy will work for them, they'll work with me. And then on her side, she sees me as I'm this guy who has the skill of running ads, making videos, doing these things. So it's kind of like her telling me what to do. And so it's kind of like, why are you questioning me? It's like, I'm your client, like I'm telling you what to do. And so that's kind of ultimately like, I don't think there's like, I'm really trying like to just understand, like trying to be trying to give her kindness and stuff. And yeah, I have to be a little bit worried with how I explain things just to cross my T's, and everything. But like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work out if she's just in that mentality of like, I'm gonna say this, you do it, no back and forth. Like, and that's the vibe that ultimately I'm getting.
So based off of all that, I know that, thank you for getting me up to date on the entire situation. And I am not surprised. And it's really interesting that you said that it could be a language barrier thing. And to me, what I'm hearing is like, one, it's a language barrier entry thing, but then also done for you, done with you, and those expectations, right? The expectation of like, hey, I'm hiring you, just do whatever. Like, it's both of those elements. And then
Yeah, I agree.
the other element is just like, it goes back to the she didn't know what you didn't know, to like educate and set proper rotation at the very beginning. Now she thinks that this is how the game is.
Yeah.
So I get that. I understand all that. My question to you is just, okay, if we follow our structure formula, okay, so I understand what's going on. I understand what the problem is. What do you think the solution is? Why do you think it's a solution? What do you think will happen if you do that thing at this point? What is the solution, or what are a few solutions that you can think of? I'm sure as you're driving home and thinking about this, you're thinking of like, how are you going to play this? Like, what was brewing in your head?
Yeah. Yeah. And just for context, we kind of, because she was feeling like kind of emotional towards me, we decided, hey, let's just talk tomorrow. Let's send this so that way we could be cordial with each other for sure. And so in terms of like what my solution, like in general, what I feel like my solution is, or like what I should do to keep her to agree with how like
Not necessarily to get her to agree, but rather what is the best move? What is the objective?
Yeah.
But what are you thinking you should do? Why do you think you should do that? And what do you think will happen?
Yeah.
In other words, the next thing is, hey, Kushik, I'm thinking about hopping on this call, and then here's what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. And here's the fork in the road. It's going to be this way or that way. Like, what is brewing in your head? Or maybe you haven't thought that far ahead, and that's okay too.
Yeah. I kind of thought that, like, I was just again trying to process, like, again, was I being an asshole? Was I doing all these things? And I like to think I was doing my best to like not do those. But what I think is like, I think we would have to go on a call. And I honestly, I think I don't know how I would go about this, but like personally, I don't feel comfortable moving forward with her just because it's just too far. And I don't think if she got on the sales call and I had my sales call how I have it now, that she would move forward because she wouldn't have been bought in. So, and again, I can work with her and I can just kind of run things the way she is, but I don't feel comfortable running the way she wants without proper like agreements on like expectations. And because one of the things she said was like, why are you so closed off? You don't know everything. It's like if I have a client and I tell them that this is gonna be the best area for them, and then they want to do this and they're consistent, I'll still do it. I won't, like I can try to educate them. And I'm kind of thinking like yeah, that's kind of how I'm like, I can't say that anymore because anything I say is just gonna be combative, but like that's exactly how I was trying to do it with her, where it's just like, hey, we can do this. It's just, and so personally, I think like I need to just tell her like, hey, I think you should find someone like this is what you're looking for, and this is how I see my clients. And again, I think this is gonna serve you best. And I was really trying, like at that point, to get her to make that decision herself. Like, hey, I think, I like straight up said, like, you may find someone that aligns with how, yours, because, it doesn't make sense of, you feel exhausted when you have to tell me these things and we go back and forth. And I don't think that's fair for you either. So it's kind of weird that she just like, it's like was fighting to like stay with me or something, like, or maybe she doesn't feel that there's other options. I don't know. But I may have to just kind of say, hey, like if we do, we have to go with our strategy. And I completely understand if that's not going to work with you. But again, I don't know.
So can I give you a suggestion?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my suggestion is you hop back on with her, right, as usual, and be cordial and listen to her and stuff like that. And then my suggestion is before you hop into that call, you have a diagram drawn out like this, 1, 2, 3. And option one is here's the playbook of what we're gonna do, and here's what the outcome would be, blah, blah, blah. Option two is we'll do your thing, but under these stipulations. So we'll do this, but you cannot go back and forth with us, or you can ask for 2 revisions, for example, kind of like a videography contract. You get up to 2
Yeah.
revisions, this, and then that, and then this. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but that's not on us and it's on you. I'm happy to do this for you. Like I said, I will do exactly what you want me to do. And the reason I've created these stipulations for you is because my theory is that XYZ will occur, and I just want to set proper expectations. Again, if you want to do this, we will happily do this for you, but this is what the outcome will be. This is what the expectations are. So again, is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? I don't know, depending on your conversation. It sounds to me like, hey, run your play or run her play, and then here's what happens. I think that's a better approach. And then the third option is do nothing, or do nothing, and say in a way which is like, hey, look, if neither of these options work for you, I totally understand, I totally respect that, and this isn't me pushing you away and saying good luck and being spiteful.
Yeah.
Just I don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable with anything other than these two, and so my suggestion would be that if you cannot get behind this, then I suggest that we potentially we consider terminating our relationship and just leaving as friends. We'll always here, be here if another time makes sense. But for the time being, if neither of these work for you, then this is what I think would serve you at the highest level.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do if I were in your shoes.
Yeah. I think that's great. Yeah, I'm like slightly traumatized. I feel like anything, like if I say option 1, it's like I already told you, like I'm almost like expecting, but I mean I think if I just show option 1, option 2 clearly, then
I think what you need to do, the way you need to structure a conversation, again, I don't know what that conversation looked like. Obviously you just had it, but it's really
Yeah.
a matter of like, first half of it, dude, has to be like super, you're just listening.
Oh.
So think about it like this. Literally our conversation we're having right now. You just talk, and I just
Yeah.
kind of asked you some questions. I probed a little bit. And then what I said is, cool, man, do you think I can give you would you like me to give you some advice? See how like I waited it all the way to the end to like give you that advice? So my suggestion is you lead with that as well, as like the whole thing is like she's talking. There's no educating, there's no none of that. And then you say, got it. Do you mind if I have a plan of action? I have a suggested plan of action. Do you mind if I share that with you? Can you give me a few minutes to share that with you? So she's gotten everything out of her system. Then you share your screen and then
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean I tried to approach it that way today where I just let her like
and I would say that the first one you want to bring up is hers.
right.
Second one you want to bring up is yours. The third one is the move away, like terminate relationship. Sorry, you were saying something, bro.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I mean I definitely like really tried to push for that structure of like let me just let her be heard for like, so long, do all these things. She does tend to like ramble a lot and like just very off topic things and stuff. But again, just like be like, oh wow, like that's why, like, oh, is that why you're moving? And just kind of being curious and stuff. And then again, it just kind of felt like and I think I think maybe at one point I did say like ask permission to like go into something, but maybe not. But yeah, so regardless, we'll 100% like ask permission.
Sure she
and-
gets I'm sure she gets everything out and she feels like you're really understanding. So sometimes what I like to say is like she'll say something and I know what the hell she's saying and I will repeat it back and be like, did I understand that correctly? So that's a key thing to do.
Okay. Yeah. I could do that.
And
Yeah.
then there's going to be a part in the conversation where you're like, is there anything else? She's not going to have anything else to say.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. I'll do that. Yeah, it definitely just sucked. Like it's definitely like I felt like I was terrorizing her just from the way she was reacting to me. So it's just not a good feeling because again, I think of how much is that my fault or and all that. And I get like I do think I approached it better than maybe that one time I talked to Dr. Jane, it was kind of like just straight up like saying like, hey, you should have, and so but it's just it definitely sucked.
I'm sorry, man.
but yeah, it's all good.
Get
Um,
everybody in their agency game gets a few of these, man.
yeah.
I've dealt with that, but maybe not to the level of, going back and forth on that level. But definitely, the doctor wants to call the play, and it's like they've never done the play.
Yeah.
You've done the play, and then it's like trying to tiptoe around it. But you know, especially, I mean, your story is a little different, on, but with Dr. Lisa, she in the beginning, like I wasn't getting good results. So, she was like, she almost thought every play that she could suggest is a better play than anything I could come up with because I'm currently not getting good results. And I felt the weight of that when we'd get on these calls, you feel the pressure when you have to go over KPIs and stuff. And
Yeah.
I just kind of went over, hey, that's cool. I love that idea. You know, I was actually thinking this. Let me know your thoughts, but da da da. And then, like, let's say the plan of action is let's try this, let's get some new content. Let's kind of back step. We didn't really have too much in this original strategy. Let's add on a little couple things. If that doesn't work, we should definitely look into kind of going into that territory. Would that sound fair? And then at least for her, she was just like, "Oh, okay, we'll give it a shot." She was easygoing, but I can see them on like based off the personality, based off the person, it could go the other way, right? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna send in the chat here a check-in call thing that I forgot what group I got this from, but it really helped kind of organize and kind of like Koshik, like it hit some of those markers where it's kind of like you listen, you listen, you listen, then you kind of. So this is a little more structure that I use now on my check-in calls, and it kind of has a situation where if results are good, you kind of follow this script based off what they say. If things are going good, things are going medium, and then things are going terribly wrong. It kind of has like how you would kind of. It's just a nice little thing to have, and of course, customize it to
Yeah.
yourself. Just wanted to
Yeah,
share that in there.
Yeah, I really
Um,
appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you saying that story because I felt heard. Because I felt like, oh damn, like, dude, I felt that before, but obviously to your level. But I'm, it's like, so thanks for sharing that and stuff, and made me feel like I'm not the only one dealing with those type of situations where they want to kind of shove their strategy down your throat, but they kind of also, for lack for a better term, don't even kind of use the current strategy correctly, the one that we've been using. So they're kind of using, hey, this isn't working, when sometimes they're not even using it to its fullest.
Yep.
At least in my situation too. Everyone's is different, but I, sorry if I'm rambling here, but it definitely, there's a lot of factors when it comes to these calls for sure.
100%.
I wanted to mention like but one of the best things that you can do in terms of like keeping a healthy relationship obviously is like communication, everything, right? But at the end of the day, like you do have to set proper expectations with the clients. And the situation that you're in is kind of sticky because it's like from all your marketing knowledge, you know that you need to make the plays that you need to make in order to get the results or satisfy her and make her happy. But at the end of the day, if she doesn't get results, she's gonna fire you, right? So it's
Right.
just kind of that sticky medium. But I think one of the number one things that I would do if I were you is find common ground with her. And because if you think about it, like, yeah, you're laying out like options, like, hey, this is option one, this is option two, this is option three, you need to pick, right? Which kind of it doesn't necessarily look bad on your part, but it looks like you did like pre-planning. But the number one thing is to bring up like the reason I'm doing this is because we both have a common goal to helping you grow your business. Like that's
Right.
why we're having this conversation. And like when it comes to a point of that, it's like I like to be very level with people and I like to tell them, like I would tell them straight up, it's like, hey, look, like you don't have to do this, right? But it's like, hey, look, I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place because I've done the thing that I'm actually suggesting in option one before, and these are the results that we have. That means that it's going to be pretty similar to what we've done before with this agency. Now, with what you're telling me what to do, I don't have a problem with it. But I know if we do this thing, it's going to help you achieve the goal that we agreed upon in the beginning. And I want to keep my promise with you because that will make me look bad. But if you want to go with this idea, that's completely fine. I just want to let you know that I can't do that. I can't guarantee the result. So it's like here we have the options, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm here to help you. And if she
Yeah.
gets it at a place where it's like she's not picking, but it's like, okay, there's a common goal and we're working together to figure it out. I think she'll be more like perceptive, agreeing with that.
Yeah, honestly, that last part that you mentioned about like yeah, like kind of how you word it, I feel like was very similar to how I word it. And it was almost like, yeah, I really do think that aspect, it was like almost like a language barrier because it was kind of like, I don't know, she just kept interpreting it like my way or, or not at all. Like it just, even if I like was trying to say like, hey, like the ultimate goal is these consultations, like I think I said it basically just like that, where it's like, hey, this is just what we've used for other, and this is what works. And we find, with like online leads is very different than referrals. And so from testing, we found the system. But again, I'm very happy to run through, and that's why I made her like write everything out. It's like, hey, I can do this, we can do this very easily, and we can do this. And again, I'm only mentioning this just because I can't confirm or I can't guarantee that you're going to see these specific results. And again, somehow it just can never just be like, okay, like, yeah, I get it. I think not, again, 95% of like clients who I would say something like that to, they would at least be able to kind of be like, I don't know, more on my level. But I think it was just more of like,
Yeah,
why are
I'm
you?
just trying to look for like a long-term solution because okay, let's just say at the end of the day, it's like, okay, she's like, all right, let's do option one or like let's do option two, whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, like this shit's gonna happen again, most likely.
Yeah,
So it's like, how do you prevent that from happening again?
So
That's kind
right.
of like where my question is. Because it's like, yeah, like I get the scenario that you're in, but let's say like you move past it, like what happens next?
For her specifically, or just my clients in general?
Just for her specifically.
Okay, her specifically. Um,
some people
I
when
mean,
they're
yeah. Mhm.
when some people are gone, they're fucking gone, man. Like it is.
That's what I'm like. I don't know if that's like, I don't want to give you bad advice. You know what I mean? But like, it's like,
I
if she's the type of person that's like that, it's like you can do everything you can right, but it's like you just have the wrong person. You just pick, a bad part of the litter. It's fine.
So I want to just share something. Just this is something the prevention is better than cure always, right? Like why wait till you have cancer? Like just fucking prevent it, right?
Right.
And so this is something that I've drilled Aman on hard. And Aman gets it now, and he's not having this issue now. This is a previous person that he first onboarded like a while ago. And so you can't like you can't save her. He can try his best, and she's going to be around for maybe a month, 2 months max, and then that's it. It is what it is. And so the question becomes, how do you prevent this issue from happening in the future? So I think that's the most important thing. Like it's almost like without being like, I'm going to get to it, but like the other reason I want to bring this up is I get so often, I'm like, Kaushik, how do I solve this objection issue? Kaushik, they said this. Kaushik, I'm like, bro, you lost a sale 10 minutes into the conversation.
Mhm.
You're talking to me about the like 2.5 hours in, last 10 minutes of the call, bro. It's about the very beginning. It's about you didn't set proper expectations of like, hey, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to make you an offer, da da da. That was the issue. That's why it felt super awkward then, right? I'm just giving you an example here. So with her, it's like it's the same thing. It's analogous to Aman coming here and saying, hey, look, dude, she said no to the sale, and this is what happened last time. It's like, bro, the issue is at the very beginning. Right. And so I want to show you guys a real life example. And here's how to solve this problem. This is so crucial. And this is important for everybody. And Ethan, I hope that this is giving you like nightmares. This is the shit that you have to look forward to. So I want to show this is how, no, this is not how, I don't know who I met, anybody in here that I met through this. Yeah. No, I've not met anybody through this. So this is a funnel that we were running back a few years ago. So there's an ad. That ad just said, hey, I'm looking for 5 offers. I want to make 24K. If you want to make 24K, click on the ad. That took them to this page right here. On this page, and I'm going to pop quiz you guys to see if you guys are going to pick up on like what I'm doing here over and over again.
Here's one unorthodox way that VRFers like Aaron Stories of Checkmate Media are laying $22,000 contracts to create commercials just like this. At the top of my computer, I'll show you how it's done. First, we create a promotional video offering a free video commercial. We run ads with our video targeting local business owners with.
Right. So as you guys know, I'm just going to run through the entire funnel, and then I'm going to have, hey, we have other students, help them. I can guarantee it for you to click the, book a call, whatever. Name, email address, Instagram, right? After that, we go to this page right here. It looks very similar to a page that you guys should have. And then from there, we have this page right here, which is like, hey, all you need to do is shoot me a DM and da-da-da, but make sure you watch the video at the bottom of the page.
Hello, welcome to Save Up There. I am super excited that you're here and watch the video because I got something very juicy I want to share with you. This is something we've been working on for nearly half a decade and it's been advertising and they're based in your local city and state.
What am I doing? I'm running through, again, the same machine, right? So you guys with me so far? I explained this to Aman to drill my point. We have an ad. It comes to this page. There's a video here. This page, we have another video here, tells them to message, but before they message, they have to watch the video. If they DM me, I tell them, hey, before I'm going to have a conversation with you, you have to go watch this video and then let me know that you understood it. And I pop quiz them in the DMs to make sure that they actually understand. I'll ask them like, hey, what did I say at this moment? Like literally, I'll say shit like that. Just to make sure that they watch it. Then they'll say, yeah, okay. So we have an ad. We have this funnel. Then we have the DM conversation where I double check to make sure that they understood. Then we push that to, I send them a Loom video. This is getting complex, but I send them a Loom video and offer a trial for $250. They have a cover ad spend, and then I give them a trial of the funnel. Then we hop on a discovery call. On the discovery call, I actually walk them through the funnel. So I literally take them through every single page of the funnel. Okay. And then we actually do the trial where we run ads for them for 24 hours, get them leads. Then we hop on a final sales call. And that's when we make them offer to join our coaching program. That's what the funnel looks like. Ad, funnel, just DMs, all that stuff. What am I doing over and over again, guys? What is the one thing I'm doing over and over again? I mean, you can't answer, obviously. But what am I doing over and over again?
You're going over every step in the process over and over again. Kind of like how you keep referring back, like in your sales call script currently, you keep referring back to where we are in the process. That would be my guess, is you're drilling home expectations of the length of the process and where we're at each stage.
What else? Yes. What else? Anybody else have a guess?
Selling the method before the call.
Mason, you're not the fucking answer, bro.
Are you selling the method before the call?
Mason, I'm gonna punch you in the chin, bro.
You said anyone else?
You know this funnel.
I ran that funnel.
So, what are we doing over and over again? Yes, we're selling the method. We're talking about the method. So in other words, Jacob, what did we do? When you first hopped in, you bought this course for $47. You had no fucking clue what the fuck it was. It was $47. It's relatively cheap, whatever. What the fuck do I have to lose? And then what happened? You were really nurtured inside the DMs because I'm like, yo, go watch this video. It's like 15 minutes long. And then you watched it, and then you came back to me like, and when you initially didn't watch it, and I was like, yo, go watch that video and then come back. And you're like, fuck, I'll go watch it. You watched it, you came back, and then you started asking questions about it. And now I know you're bought in. I am not going to hop on a sales call with you, Jacob, until you have bought into that thing. You're like, yeah, this actually makes a ton of sense. So I'm doing that with you. What am I doing over and over? I'm literally, this is the crazy part, guys. And hopefully this is a little bit of a mind fuck for everybody here. I'm speaking to a fucking 5-year-old. Okay. I explained the 6-week sales funnel in this video. I explain it again in this video. When they hop in the DMs, I'm pop quizzing to make sure they understand this. On the actual call where I take the deposit, I run through the entire funnel again. And then they experience the fucking funnel for 24 hours. So do I have to sell people on like, hey, you have to run a free video commercial offer? No, they're like, dude, why would they even question me? Nobody's going to say, hey, look, can I do 20% off? No. The stuff Aman's dealing with, which is like, hey, well, what if I want to do it this way? If he drilled it hard enough where it's like, yo, this is the only one and only path, and this is the only thing that makes sense. Is anybody going to do anything? No, they're not going to question it. They're just going to go with it. And so what I'm saying is, all that to say is in your marketing and in your sales, you must drill your method. And you only have to conversation with you, and you only take money from people that have fully bought into your method. I had somebody that I had a conversation with the other day. They purchased the course, all that stuff. They didn't go through the course material. By the time they hopped on a call with me, they thought it was regular, like commercial shit. And I'm like, yeah, bro, this ain't for you, bro. I'm not going to try to even sell him on it. He had no clue about the ads and funnels, all this stuff. I'm not going to try to fucking sell him on it. Like, go do the fucking homework and then come back to me if it actually makes sense to you. So that's how you solve the problem. So that's how Aman would solve the problem. That's how you solve the problem. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, this is the crate before the horse or the chicken before the egg, because like, yo, I haven't actually gotten results for somebody. I don't even fucking know how to sell the method because I don't even have a method. Right? And so this is why, Ethan, another golden nugget, bro, you have a fucking method, bro. Everybody else, if you don't have a method, you fucking put a face on and you act like you have a method. until you figure it out. That is just the truth. I'm giving you just the raw truth. You have to act like you have some kind of method, some unique mechanism. You never ever hop, Daniel, the stuff that you did. And again, I understand it was your first client, but you never ever hop on and say, hey, look, let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. And no, the method is the fucking method. If I say walk on fire, you walk on fire. That's the only way it works. You make it stupid that they would question you. Just like I'm having a conversation with Ethan, I'm running through this whole thing, and he's like, bro, I'd be stupid not to do it. A ton of evidence, and I'm saying the same thing like a bajillion different ways to Ethan. I'm not just saying I'm like, here's this angle, here's this angle, here's this angle. So you never hop on and it's ever a thing of like, I'm going to run ads and we'll see how it goes, ever. There's a method, there's a process to a T, and that's how you solve this problem. So anyways, I hope this helps. I hope this, we can try to solve this problem with her all day long, or we could just prevent it. And that's how you prevent it.
Yeah, and just for like context for everyone, I think this was like my first client, and I took her on as a trial, and then she ended up she paid for like a month. And so I mentioned this because again, I didn't really have a method really. And so I took her on, I learned a lot of stuff, my sales calls got better. And then as I took on more clients, even some paid, paper appointments and stuff, again, my sales got better. And it's like the last two that I closed, they were like fully bought in. When like things that I bring up that people just couldn't agree on beforehand, like they like fully understood. They were able to just agree with whatever offer I mentioned, and they just like are ready to run with it. So yeah, like as like stressful as this conversation was, it was just kind of like whatever. It was my first, it was one of my first clients, and it was like a big learning lesson. I just hated the fact that she got riled up, that part wasn't a good feeling. But other than that, I'm not like, yeah, like it does feel like yeah, I can't fix her, so I'm just gonna just keep refining my onboarding. It does make such a difference to refine the sales process, the onboarding and everything. So
Thank you for
kind of like,
that perspective.
yeah.
For some of you guys that haven't gone to that stage yet, kind of hopefully we can kind of save you from dealing with that kind of heartache in the future. That being said, Aman, man, it was a good therapy session, I think.
Yeah.
I hope you're feeling better. Anything else that you want to go over, Aman?
No, I think that play makes most sense for me, and just hope it remains civil tomorrow or
Just
whenever.
run with it, dude. Run with it. See what happens. It's a learning experience. Go something that you put to your journal. Goes into your journal. You learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that's everybody. But I know you got a few people on the call still that have not. They don't have necessarily a question. I think it's just you, Jorge. Is there anybody else? Jorge and Jacob, you guys didn't ask questions.
Yo,
Jorge,
I'm ready to go whenever you are. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, bro. What is your what's your specific question, bro?
So specific questions, give me more about no real specific questions, honestly. It's just more like an update, and then also just next immediate steps for the all the clients that I already have. But this is pretty much an update of what we're already doing.
Okay.
So with the monthly report, that's all. I'll be taking care of that tonight. And then the next steps with the parent clients. I went out to go film the commercial in Jersey, and then came back. I didn't really get as much like I wanted to do all like the Facebook ad manager access stuff done over there, but I was like, man, I was too sick at that point, so I said, fuck it, I'll just do it over Leadsu and the onboarding page that I sent it to them. And with that, I think I just want to make sure that the next steps are in order, and for that, it's run the DR campaign, and then copy or not yet replicate what Jay had for his clients, but for mine, and then just get that running ASAP. And I wanted to I had the onboarding calls already with all 3 of my current clients, and I let them know too that hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to get everything sorted out by next week, so that way we can start running, be up and running by next week. So that's where I'm at right now, and I just wanted to confirm that's the next step for transportation.
Cool. I mean that all sounds good, bro. And I think yeah, that's like bang on the order, right? Everything you mentioned is the order. And then in terms of the reactivation campaign, are you running your play? Or are you running Jay's play?
I don't think he had a reactivation campaign play. It
He
was
didn't
just
have
more
like a,
so I don't think so, no.
oh, okay. Cool. Cool. In that case, I mean, yeah, let's see what happens. In terms of the results. I remember like the last results that you had, they were like subpar. You know what I mean? In terms
Yeah,
it was like a huge volume of people that it got over to, and I think you had like one conversion from that, right? One or two.
yeah.
So I'm guessing you're planning on running that again.
That's what I was gonna ask you about too. Is that was the complimentary trial offer,
Hmm.
and I was
So
gonna ask you if this should be the same thing or this should be different because I ran it in the past like a few months ago.
I didn't even know that's what the offer was. I mean, I think I think a good thing would be just to chop it up right now, me, you, and Mason, and talk a little bit about like SMS like strategy. When I hear something like that, because like that email list that the list that you sent that SMS out to, is that like the existing customer base or
It's
is that
not
like
their existing customer. It's the past customers or past leads.
yeah, so past leads or past customers?
Past. That's a good question. Past leads, I believe.
Okay. So I mean, Mason, you can chime in on this, bro, but like in my opinion, I think if it was like leads that have not necessarily become customers, like yeah, that's a fantastic offer. It's like, hey, we're doing a trial, get in, whatever. If it's customers, I would not be offering that because they've already been and they've already experienced it. So I would offer something else, like, hey, we're doing a 7-day boot camp to learn this specific technique or whatever. Were you guys interested? We're gonna do a free 24-hour like free pass for the first like day or whatever. Like that's what I would do for like a reactivation thing. But I don't, maybe if you want to chop it up with Mason, you guys want to chop it up real quick and see if you guys can figure out a better strategy. Here one thing I do want to say, Jorge, though, is this. I've
Yeah,
noticed like I noticed things have dried up in terms of discovery calls. So we need to
yeah.
look. That's if I'm you, bro, like I know you've been busy, but like that's a huge concern. We got to make sure we get that dialed in. If we don't get that dialed in, everything else is gonna fall apart.
Okay, yeah. We'll just let me know what to do or like what I need, what you need from me.
Okay, so what do you think? So based off of what's happened, so one, have you updated your Excel sheet in terms of like what your numbers are?
Yeah. Not every single sheet, just the main KPI, like the main funnel. The rest of them I've been updating them like slowly, but
Okay.
the actual funnel, the 10 new students funnel, that's all updated.
So yeah, so like so I remember before your cost per booking call was like 25 bucks. Is insane. What is your cost per booking call now?
It's one, two, discovery call,
Yeah, cost per book call.
75, 75 for the month of February.
So I mean that's not high, but still like something weird is going on because you were getting book calls relatively cheap, and then it's been like 2 weeks since you've been getting a book call. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So based off of that, like what do you think? Again, if we stick to the format of what's going on, what the problem is, what do you
Mhm.
think you should do? Why do you think you should do it? What do you think will happen? What do you think? What do you think is the problem? What do you think you need to do? And why do you think you need to do it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, off the bat, I'm just thinking it could be because I changed up I created a new ad set, and you mentioned something about like Facebook trying to find its rhythm or something like that. And what I think I should do is I thought waiting it out would be the right answer, but obviously it's not because I haven't gotten any book calls yet. So that's where I'm kind of stuck at right here. I don't know what else I could do other than just like create a whole new ad set, duplicate it again, and maybe mess around with the targeting. That would be my initial uh, initial response.
So let's say again, and this is just important just for the education for you know, this is because you said, Kushi, you said something about getting a new audience or something like that. So that tells me that you're not familiar with this to a T. So I think it's really important that you are. So let's say I'm targeting Netflix or a lookalike audience, whatever the audience is, right? There's the audience, okay? And then each ad set is like a different pond. Some ponds, there's like a lot of fish. Like this pond, for example, there's a lot of fish. This pond has like 2 fish. This pond has like 3 fish. Okay, so different amount of fish. So what happened is you basically were at this pond, and then what happened is when you changed the budget, what happened is maybe you moved to this pond. And so that's why results are not working. So what I was like, okay, this pond that you're in, bro, let's screw this pond. So this pond we were in, we changed the budget, which moved things to this pond, and then now this pond is what you're in right now, and it's not working. So we need to kill this one and then try another pond, and ideally this one has some fish.
Mhm.
And that's my suggestion for what to do. And the reason for that is because I think that you are already getting results with your audience. Whatever your audience, whatever you set up in terms of interest or lookalike audience, whatever you've tested, you've already gotten a sale from it. So I would not be moving away from this audience yet. I would just be trying to try a different audience ad set and turn it on and try that. Another thing I would do is even though this ad set stopped working, what I would do is if I were in your shoes, I would first of all, step 1, I would kill this. Step 2, I would load another one, see what happens. Step 3, if for some reason it doesn't work, then I'm going to actually try to turn this one back on and see if it starts working again. So this is what you have to do. You have to like finagle with this stuff. This is kind of like, this is what we're doing right now is we're kind of like messing around with curves to color grade something. You're kind of going up and down in the shadows and highlights a little bit, trying to get it just right. That's kind of what we're doing. We're finessing with it. So this is like probably the most important thing you should be focusing on right now, this right here. Because you got to get your call, we got to get the calls booked. If the calls are booked, then everything else is fine. We're gonna be fine sooner or later. But if the calls stop working, the business dies. This has to be, you have to check up on this and figure what's going on with this. So this, and then if that doesn't work, then I'm testing out another ad sets. I'm testing out different audiences. I don't think it's your creative. I think your creative is fine. I think it's really just a pocket. And here's something weird I just thought everybody should know. I've noticed that whenever I see your guys' ads, your ads do worse. So Jorge, I started seeing your ads on my feed. When Drew and Marquita were having crazy insane numbers, I was seeing their ads all the fucking time. I'm not your audience. And if I something's going on. So you know, I want to stop seeing your mug, bro. So
yeah, I mean, unless you own a jiu-jitsu gym or something, but
right. I don't got one of those, bro. So I would be moving this around, testing that out. So that's like a huge thing to be working on, bro. And then also another thing you can do is in terms of your your KPIs. I know it's broken down into months, but another thing we can do is like we can literally break it down. You can divide it into columns every time you make a change to your ad set or ad. And the reason this is important, Jorge, is because then we can say like, this is when you had ad set 1. These are the results from ad set 2. These are results from ad set 3. Are you familiar with what I'm doing right now? Are you picking up what I'm throwing down?
yeah, so basically every time that I make a new change, update that and have that as its own column.
Yeah, if you want. Or you can like duplicate the sheet, and one sheet we have this. This way I can see and you can see what's happening from week to week.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's super crucial. Like right now, the stage that you're at, super crucial. We need to get this dialed in. It's a red alert right now. Like you're literally red alert, bro. Like we need to get this dialed in. It's serious. It's important. So if we can break it down by weeks, then we can have a closer look and try to diagnose and figure out what's going on. But this comes before everything else, in my opinion.
Gotcha. So basically kill off the current ad set, duplicate it, run that one, and then see how that one does.
Yeah. And I'm looking at like, and you're.
What about the first one?
That's not the first one. So step 1 is I'm going to kill off because you're on your second ad set, right? I'm going to kill that and then create the third ad set. I'm going to see how the third one does. I want to see, your $50 to $100 of cost for booking. It's interesting to me that you're saying, I mean, I want to see something within the week is what I'm saying. I want to see something because it's been like 2 weeks since we had something. If for some reason that doesn't work, then the next thing you can do is you can turn the first ad set back on and see if that does something. Sometimes that does. If that doesn't work, then we need to try to play around with different targeting. And in terms of targeting, if you want to make a note of this or write this down, another thing that you could do is you could create a lookalike audience of a bunch of Brazilian jiu-jitsu business owners. So sometimes people do this, is like you'll literally like scrape up a bunch of emails from Brazilian jiu-jitsu business owners, right? Either you scrape it up, you use some kind of a plugin, you hire somebody from Fiverr, whatever, and then create a lookalike audience of that. And then just target that lookalike audience. That's another thing you can do.
How big does the list have to be?
The bigger the better. At least 300. I would say try to get to like 1,000, 2,000.
Oh, okay.
You can buy a
I-
list on Fiverr of 1,000 people for like $100.
Yeah, I have a question about
Sure.
that real quick. We just had that done for the dog grooming business. We had 500 leads generated. And are you just basically taking the emails, or is there other factors that you input aside from there? Because they generated like Facebook, LinkedIn, which we recommended because Adam has some ideas about like LinkedIn down the road. How do we implement that lead list into the lookalike audience?
I think really quick, I think Facebook, like they have certain standards of what you can and can't upload. So I think they help you with that. Or the last time that I did it, they did that. So they might just tell you like what things that they need. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I don't know if I'm misunderstanding the question, but like if your question is like what to upload to create the lookalike list, you just need the email, because if the email is tied to the Facebook,
Yeah.
then the Facebook has like thousands of data points.
Very good. That makes sense.
You
Yeah.
don't need to upload the email address and their date of birth and all that shit. Like Facebook has all that. You just need the email address tied to their Facebook.
And
But yeah.
okay, and I'm sorry to hijack, and I'll leave it alone after this, but is that just creating a lookalike audience that obviously like looks like them, or is that actually going to be targeting them specifically?
Yeah, solid question. You can do both. I know some people that they'll create the list and they'll have the custom audience as an ad set or as an audience, and they'll have a lookalike audience as the audience. And they literally target both.
So custom audience would just be emails of people that you know are the people you're targeting. For instance, like we have niche down to like a specific like place in this county that like is like a giant corporation, right? So the gym is like, oh, this 6,000 person corporation would be perfect because they can do lunchtime ads and everything, lunchtime breaks. So would we be able to take a lead list from all those same corporate places and then run that into Facebook, and then it would actually target them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So step one, like just like applicable steps for your dog grooming business is you could have an ad set, one ad set where you're targeting just the people on that email list. And if it's big enough, 500 is a little bit small. Facebook might have trouble spending money trying to find them. But you could have one ad set where you target just the email list of the custom audience. And you can have another ad set where you target a lookalike audience of that email list, a 1% lookalike of that email list.
Cool.
And that would be a much larger audience.
Very good. Sorry to take that over, Jorge.
That was a good question. Hopefully that helps you as well, Jorge. Like that's something we can do as well. We can literally target an audience of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu business owners. So that's something I would be looking into if I were you as well.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So that's it. That's all I wanted to mention in terms of that. Again, that's something that's super important. Now in terms of like the SMS stuff, Mason, do you want to help Jorge a little bit, ask some probing questions and help him out?
Yeah, Jorge, I sent you some things in Slack in terms of like offers and what you can do.
Uh,
From what I've seen best, like I guess I'd have to see the terms and languaging that you used in terms of like the first DR. How big was the list that you send that offer out to?
it was pretty much 2,000.
2,000, only one or two people. Okay, yeah. So that's definitely an offer thing. I would definitely switch the offer, at least try, because I don't think being consistent with one or two things is worth a retry. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you switch the offer for leads that have not bought before and maybe do
The thing is, he doesn't know if it's leads or customers. That in itself is a problem. You know what I mean?
that's the first thing I do when I run DR. So like I have like different sections. So like one is like leads, one is like current clients, then one is like past clients, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
the way that I structure like my offers for the three of them is like the just the leads is like an introductory offer, right? So like for you it'd be like a 2 week pass or like free like jujitsu fucking robes when you sign up or some shit like that, right? And then for current clients, like there's two ways you can play it, and this is what kind of what Daniel did with his dentist is one's like a direct offer, and then the next one is kind of like a refer your friend type of deal. So it's like come bring your buddy to get his ass beat or something like that. Like come put your friend in an arm bar or something. You know what I mean? Like something along the lines like I can see actually that working really well. Like kind
Jorge,
of bring your friend and then incentivizing them both.
really quick,
And
Jason,
then yeah.
just before you go off that, because I think it's super crucial. Jorge, were you here when Daniel went over that or no?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. It's not me
So,
about.
dude, homework, bro. Homework. This is fucking crucial, bro.
I think it's in the general communication chat. If you scroll up, it should be labeled. So go ahead and watch that one, Jorge.
Yeah, this one right here from February 9th. Again, this is a long call, but Daniel, is he here? Yep, he's still here. Daniel blessed us with, what he was doing for his dentist client. And somewhere in here, he basically explained his reactivation campaign for existing clients, and it was fucking brilliant. And what I did is we took what he did, and I told him what I would do to add my secret sauce, some more sauce to it, and then like, that would like put it on even fucking steroids. So if I'm you, watch this. This is super crucial, and that's going to be what you want to use. Again, what Mason's saying, he's dividing in three people, right? Leads, current clients. This would be current clients. Yeah, this would be current
Yes,
clients.
current clients. And then it would be like past clients.
So he's got three categories, right? Leads, current clients is you want to do what Daniel did, and then for past clients, Mason, what did you have for that?
So well, actually, I had two for the current clients. So you can do kind of like a refer a buddy type thing and kind of develop a system like that. Or you literally just like create your own offer because the people that are already your clients are people that are going to be the most likely to bite on that. So for example, if you did like in jujitsu, there's like certain techniques and moves. So it could be like, hey John, this week we're doing an arm bar intensive or something along the lines of that. It's going to be super private. There's only going to be 10 people there because everyone's going to get one-on-one training with our coach, blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you're interested. And like that could easily be like sold to a client that you already have.
Okay.
So like something like literally like make an offer like that. Like honestly, I haven't done anything like this for like the jiu-jitsu industry, but you can create your own offer in terms of that.
One thing is you can do. There's a great video Mosey had years ago about this, but he's talking about like upsells, downsells, side sells, or whatever. And I feel like that's really applicable to this. So it's like, for example, ClickFunnels does something where if you can buy a year's worth of ClickFunnels for like $1,000 off. So this is something that would work for your existing customer base because they're already happy with the service. So it's like, okay, I'm going to stay here for a year anyways. Why not fucking get a 30% discount by paying in full? So
That's
more,
what I was thinking. Like offer because we offer 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and then unlimited. So like right off the bat, I was thinking upsell on their membership package, right? Like, buy the full year up front for the next package deal and get like something off or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like for a limited time, we're doing this. So that's another offer. So you have that's more of the same thing. And then again, watch this video, dude. It's so good in terms of like that's like it's a great strategy for you to get referrals in through the door, but then sell the existing customer base more stuff. So again, watch this and it'll make more sense. But like you can literally use this as well. You can it's like again, I don't want to butcher this, but Daniel says something like, hey, what we're doing is we want to give a toothbrush to somebody, just put their name, email, phone number in, we're gonna give it to them or some shit. Actually, I'm fucking it up and I don't want to fuck it up. I feel terrible. But then so then these people get like this thing, and then you reach out to them and say, hey, your buddy got the toothbrush, so here's like $100 voucher because they took up the toothbrush or whatever. Would you like to use it within the So anyways, you have to watch it for to see it. Again, I'm butchering right now, but really good. And then Mason, sorry, I keep jumping in, but what would you have for people that are past clients?
Honestly, for past clients, it's kind of the same. Or I wouldn't say it's the same. I just can't think of a good example for like jujitsu.
Would it be worth it? Like if I can't separate the list of okay, who's old versus who's just the lead, like who's actually a member versus who's just somebody that got their information. If I can't separate that, would it be worth it to just create a new offer, like an introductory offer that's a little bit stronger than just the free class?
What was the offer before? Like what was the offer when you ran it to 2,000 people exactly? Was it just a one class thing?
Yeah, it was literally just a free trial class.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be way better than that. Especially for like an introductory offer. It's gotta be way better.
I think it really just depends where like on like who are they? Are they leads? Are they customers? So you need to like let us know, and then we'll kind of take it from there, and we can kind of spit ideas and offers. We're trying to think of stuff on the fly. We need to sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
So let us know. So your homework is watching this video and then also letting us know, and then we'll bounce ideas back and forth in terms of leads versus existing versus past.
Okay, and then in the future, say if like this the new client that's gonna upload their list, should I make it a point to let them know, like, hey, can you tell me exactly who's the lead and who's just the old client?
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to ask them, see if they have a system for that. You want to figure out a system for yourself. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's not possible. That's okay too. Kind of. Does that help, Daniel? Oh, I'm sorry. Does that help, Jorge?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What else you got for us?
For the one for the gym client that I already had results for with the ads, the older guy, with him, when I'm getting his testimonial, like creating that interview conversation, is there certain questions that I should ask that you would want me to ask versus questions that I wouldn't? Like, should I gear the conversation more towards the testimony about the results or just a regular conversation?
Yeah. So are you hopping on a call with him where it's gonna be face to face, or he's going to video himself?
I was thinking face to face, like he lives nearby me, so I was thinking just going over there, getting training in, and then just filming the content.
So literally, this is the advice I gave Daniel earlier, which is like hopping on and positioning in a way where it's like, hey, I want to interview you because you've done such a fantastic job, and learn from you, and then pass it off to other people. If you're really putting on a and literally just everything, bro, like everything, as money as much as you can, because there's no such. It's like an editor. No editor is gonna say, hey, man, you gave me too much good footage.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't exist, right? And so just like that, it's like just get as much stuff as you can. So literally everything you just said, which is like for me, what I like to look at is like, what was life like with Jorge? What was life like here? What am I looking forward to in the future now? What was life like before? What are the problems I had? Another thing is like, what has caused me to work with Jorge? What has caused me to work with Jorge? What is working right now? What is like working with him? And then what do I look for in the future? Like I'm thinking about opening up a new clinic, for example.
Jorge, I just sent you a video that I recorded a while ago. That's actually a testimonial, and you can watch that. It's only like 5 minutes long, but it has all the questions in there that you can just copy, and it should work for you.
Cool. Thank you.
More the merrier, man. Like the more the merrier.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was trying not to overthink it, and I just.
Another thing is, if you want to type over your questions our way, I can have a look at them.
Yeah.
I can look at them and we can build off of them.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that then before I head over there.
You got for us, bro?
That's it, honestly. Yeah, just want to make sure just wanted to get a touch on what I'm doing with my ads, and then also just kind of giving you an update on what's going on with the actual with my current clients, right? Just getting the ball rolling.
Cool, man. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's fine. What I want to do is I like to sit down with somebody at like the 30-day mark. So, here soon, I think, a week or 2 weeks time, I'd like to sit down with you and just kind of recap what happened so far, what's next, etc. So I'll touch base with you regarding this.
Okay.
Anything else, bro?
No, that's it, man. Thank you for answering my questions.
Can you mute the background? You're good. Cool. Last person we have is Jacob. What's going on, man?
Not much. Going through the videos, the follow-up videos that you sent me. I made it through the Kaplan video. Then I watched yours back, and right now I'm just working through the niche calculator. Plugging in my 3 niches into there, figuring out the results, and then reporting back to you guys. But in between there, I had 2 discovery calls today, turned into 2 sales calls tomorrow. So it was a pretty full day so far. But yeah, I'm super excited for this next stage. I heard a couple horror stories there, so I know how to prepare myself a little bit better, especially with that first client situation. But I'm excited for the next phase.
Good, man. Hopefully you're kind of seeing like full circle again, like why we go so hard in terms of that first phase and why I'm really drilling you guys on certain things. And hopefully it's kind of making more sense now as you watch this material. You're seeing
this is more the stuff I was looking forward to learning is the systems, not so much of like I get the first phase now. You're right. I do have a much better picture of that, but this is the stuff I was kind of looking forward to. It's the systems, the repeatability, the blankets, all that.
So yeah, man. That's pretty much what awaits you. And doesn't sound like you have a lot of questions. That's totally fine. That's typically what I see at this
Not
stage.
yet. Yeah.
People are asking things like, hey, how do I decide between niche and this and that's what I'm interested in, so it sounds like maybe we might get there after you've kind of gone through the material and let us know. So cool, man. I'll just me and Mason, we're just patiently waiting, and we'll hear back from you, and we'll kind of take it to, we'll give you our feedback, and we'll take it to the next step.
Cool. I hope to have that list to you guys by tomorrow at the very latest. We finish out the niche calculator after we get off the call here tonight.
Do you have a few that are like on your mind right now, or no? Like
yeah, for sure. You want me to just give them to you now? So you're prepared, I guess. But definitely dentist. We have a bunch of material on it here in the course. And I just feel like that's when, again, it goes to what you were talking about with Ethan. It's like it's about what you can sell easily in the beginning. I know we've got some proven offers already. There's a lot of framework there. Don't have to do a lot of reinventing. Real estate. I know Ralph and forgive me, I forgot his business partner's name. Lisa. Yeah, but I know they're an incredible resource that we have at our disposal. And then what are your thoughts on luxury cars? So like out here in Austin, there's like the Porsche dealership, there's a Tesla and all that. And I figure you can get each of the salesmen or saleswoman.
Yeah, I think I know car dealerships is a solid niche, but I think it's very hard to get in with them.
Okay.
There's not as many of them.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't know how many luxury dealerships that are offering Porsches out for the public to rent. I'm pretty sure Jason Wojo is doing.
Yeah, I forgot there kind of does have to be something to get them in the door. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I think the first two are obviously they're stuff that there are niches that people have already dabbled into, of course. Is there another niche that you're thinking of? A third one that comes to mind? And by the way,
those were the 3, but I assume I would have came to the same conclusion y'all just did when I ran the car dealerships through the niche calculator. But no, those were the 3 that were on my mind right now.
I'd like you to think also about like the things that other people are not doing either, right? So take a moment to think about that as well. I would say that there's pros and cons to like it's not necessarily like I think that the advice I gave Ethan, like it wasn't necessarily just because of his experience. It was just like holistic because of all the things he's experienced in life and where he's at. That's why I specifically gave it to him, like suggested that for him. If you came to me and you said, hey, Kaushik, I'm thinking about interior design, personal trainer, and then my answer would definitely not be the same. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, we definitely have some people that are doing dentists. We definitely have some people that are doing that. I think um Josh and Jada. Did you meet Josh and Jada?
Briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah, briefly.
Josh and Jada are consulting with Lisa and Ralph now to basically learn how to get results for a realtor that hired them. So, I know that's an option if you wanted to get some coaching from those guys, they would happily coach you as well. Um,
I'll get
so
creative with the third then. I'll
yeah,
try and figure out a different lane, kind of an independent one.
yeah, I would say, yeah, try to figure out an independent one, like maybe even like think about two, maybe think about two other ones that are,
Okay.
and then again, we say three, but if you want to give me like five, dude, by all means, like,
Careful what you wish for.
I'm it's a very important decision, so I'm happy to give you
Sure.
options for multiple so that you can make it the right decision for yourself.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I was just trying to avoid reinventing the wheel, but there is also oversaturation and things like that. So,
Well, there are different reasons why. I'm suggesting what I'm suggesting, kind of come again. There's another layer.
I
And
got you. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
cool, man. Well, aside from that, like, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
I feel good. Rejuvenated after after moving on. My little participation trophy gave me a nice little pickup. But
Yeah, I can see that. Last
yeah,
week, you looked a little bit beat up, I could tell. And so it's nice to see a little bit of a pip in your step this week.
yeah. Cool.
Um, I mean, like, do you think that pip in your step is due to just like being able to kind of get out of that stage? Is that like, I'm curious, like what happened to kind of get
So
you?
the excitement came from I was starting to have doubts about the program in general because I was like, man, this is not what I was sold on. And it's I couldn't figure out why I was still doing the things I was doing. And then when I started going over the new material and all that, that's when we started getting into the things I was kind of sold on, the licensing and the, building out the systems and being able to use it for multiple businesses in the same niche and all that. So that's where the pep in the step comes from, is because I was starting to lose faith and then it was immediately restored.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, and I think it's important, and we can maybe dive deeper, like personally, like me, you, and Mason in our channel. But um, it so is you said like a lack of faith. Is it a lack of faith in like the certain skills, or a lack of faith of like, hey, where the program was taking you? You're like, I'm not sure that the program's taking me where I'm trying to go. It's sounding like the later for you.
Yeah, it was tough for me I understand now that trust the process. The uncertainty part of it was what was killing me. Is like, it felt like what we were working towards in that first phase isn't what I was told the end game was going to be in this whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you bringing that up, man. That's super important. Like,
Sure.
alpha for me to know and like understand like the deep, because I could kind of, like I said, I could see shit on your face last week, bro. And so now I know, like, I didn't know if the shit I saw on your face was because like, dude, this shit's fucking hard and I'm getting stumped here, or part of it's like that. And then also like, I don't know, like my heart's not in it because this isn't what I was sold. I'm looking for the other thing. So maybe it sounds like it was a combination of a little bit of both of that.
Bingo. Right in the middle of that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, man, I hope, I hope I've earned, and I hope we've earned when we say, hey, trust the process.
Definitely.
There's
Definitely.
it comes full circle. I promise, it always comes full circle.
Yeah. It's tough for me to do the one step at a time. I'm getting used to it. But yeah.
Good. Okay, man. Anything else that you want to chop it up about in the meantime, then?
Right now, no, like I said, I got to get through that niche calculator. I'll send you 4 or 5 tomorrow. I'll send you my list and then we can kind of we can dial it into the best one, whether that's something that's already been done or something completely new, but we'll figure it out from there.
Sounds good, man. Okay, guys. I think that's everything from everyone. Anybody else have anything else that they wanted to go over? Ethan, you're talking. I knew it, dude. I knew you were
Oh, it just surpassed it. Congratulations, everybody, for living through history right now.
Bitcoin has hit an all-time high.
Bro, this is crazy. This is surreal. It just passed it just a second ago. This is crazy.
Wait till we get to 69,420.
Oh my God, it's gonna be crazy. Probably later tonight or something.
Let's go. That's what I'm waiting for. That's awesome, man. And everybody's holding here. Congratulations. We are all richer than we were when we invested. Mason, what are you saying? I can't hear you, bro. You're muted.
No, I was just laughing.
Bro, this is gonna turn into like a crypto coaching program. Watch. We're gonna start transitioning more. No, I'm joking, but aside from that, guys, aside from Bitcoin hitting an all-time high, anybody else have anything that they want to chop it up about?
Yeah, you mentioned walking through fire earlier. Are we actually gonna have to do that, or is that
It'll feel like it.
okay?
No actual walking through fire. Anything else, guys? Cool. All right, you hooligans. We will see you guys here next week. Peace.